Washington State is 6-1 and 3-0, but you see their lead over USC, and the Trojans right now humbling Washington in Seattle 43-17. It's late in the fourth quarter. California is taking care of business against Arizona, and the Oregon Ducks are smashing Stanford 35-0. So awfully big game here with Washington State entertaining Oregon State. And there is Bill Doba. After 30 years as a high school coach or college assistant, Doba got his first head coaching job in college at the age of 63, and he's not doing a bad job with the number 6 team in the nation. Meantime, at Oregon State, Mike Riley's back in his hometown. He was the quarterback at Corvallis High School, grew up, coached for the Beavers in 97, 98. Then after 4 years in the NFL, he is back in the job he loves, the area he loves, Corvallis and Oregon State. Both these teams have 5 games left, both contending for the Pac-10 title. A lot of college football left to be played.
And Steve, Washington State, of course, this is really a first of the next 3 games. They go on the road, they play USC, they have UCLA, and of course Oregon State today. So they're going to be tested in the next 3 weeks.
Well, Kirk Ilanimi will try and kick it away from this man, Sammy Moore. 97-yard kickoff return for a touchdown that broke open Washington State's win at Colorado. Moore will go to one knee, and here's a look at our Kyocera starting lineups. The quarterback, Matt Kegel, big man, 6'5" senior from Haver, Montana, population 13,500. He's thrown for almost 2,000 yards this year. His backs and receivers, Jonathan Smith is averaging 4.7 yards per carry. Sammy Moore, 25 yards a catch. DeVar Darling, 18 yards a catch. Benneman is the tight end. And the offensive line is a bit beat up. Sam Lightbody will not start. 55, Charles Harris, redshirt freshman, moves in as the starting tackle. The line averages 6 feet 6 inches tall and over 300 pounds. Kegel, first down from his 20. Play action pass, and he wants to go deep on the first play of the game, and it is intercepted. Intercepted by Brandon Browner, his 4th pick this year.
And Steve, they tried to go deep right away. Kegel, little play action in the line to Jonathan Smith. They're trying to get it all early. And tell you what, Brandon Browner does a great job closing on the football, Steve. He just snatches it away from DeVar Darling. Kegel looked as though he threw it off his back foot, Steve. He didn't get enough oomph behind the ball, and Browner makes a great play for the Beavers.
Washington State tries to pull the surprise early. And an interception, something that Kegel has stayed away from so well, and that has haunted the Oregon State quarterback. Anderson throws it to the feet of Kenny Farley. He needs to start well. Let's take a look at the Oregon State Kyocera starting lineups. The quarterback, he too is a big man, 6'6" junior from Scappoose, Oregon. Derek Anderson, 14 interceptions to only 10 touchdowns. Steven Jackson we told you about, but James Newsom is a big play receiver, averaging 18 yards per catch. He is second in the nation, 126 yards per game. The offensive line, huge, averaging 314 pounds across that line. Jackson gets the call and only a 1-yard carry. Didi Achelanu making the tackle. Let's take a look at the Kyocera defense for Washington State. Isaac Brown, Jeremy Williams, Ty Tupai, and Didi Achelano. The linebackers, Jenna Tones, the leader, Jackson, the run stuffer, and Will Durding, probably the most talented. Corners, Pema, Jason David will be playing in the NFL next year, and the safeties are good ones, and Eric Pullman and Virgil Williams. They have combined for 7 interceptions from that safety spot. Jackson breaks 1 tackle. He will not get the first down. Strong defense by WSU. Again, Jackson averaging 132 yards per game, and Washington State only allowing 71 yards rushing by their opponents. It's 4th and 8.
And Steve, you see the numbers on Steven Jackson. They're not afraid to use him on 3rd down, even a 3rd and long, just like they had right there. Steven Jackson has the ability to break it all the way at any time during the game.
Carl Tobey comes on to punt, and Tobey will be hitting it to Sammy Moore, who stands at his 17-yard line. Tobey just barely got it away, and it is Moore with room. He slips and falls at the 21-yard line. We'll be right back. Scoreless here in Pullman. A gorgeous afternoon here in Pullman, Washington. The Cougars hope turnovers do not plague them today. On the first play of the game, Matt Keagle's pass was intercepted by Brandon Browner. Now they will run on their second possession. Jonathan Smith, who has run for 479 yards this year. Our Kyocera defense. Swancut, Edwards, Siegert, and Rothwell along that front line. They will start Jason Jean-Baptiste over Rothwell today because of an injury. Bray Siegler is a monster in the middle. 50 tackles behind the line of scrimmage, and Jonathan Pollard. Eric Williams, Brandon Browner are the corners, and two excellent safeties in Lawrence Turner and Mitch Musin. Musin with 3 interceptions, 11 in his career. Keagle to the air on second down and plenty. He completes it to Chris Jordan, who had 2 touchdown catches last week against Stanford in the victory over the Cardinal, and gets a first down here.
That's a nice job by Keagle that time, Steve. Being patient, finding Jordan underneath. They really like Jordan, too, the young redshirt freshman. 21 catches, averaging almost 12 yards a catch. Couple scores, as you mentioned.
Washington State will spread it out on first down, and they'll run Jonathan Smith. And boy, he is tied up by Dwan Edwards and Ben Siegert and Bill Swancut.
Steve, one of the things Oregon State can run to the football. Watch them. They just kind of keep that play. They string it out a little bit, and then Oregon State shows their team speed. So efficient on defense. Swancut there, the defensive end. Dwan Edwards, the big defensive tackle. They're able to push inside out, push to the edge, and let the linebackers run it down.
And those linebackers do have a lot of tackles for OSU. They'll run it on second down and long, and the result will be no gain. Siegler again with his second tackle of the contest. It will be third down and 10 yards to go for WSU. Our Subway leaders in the Pac-10, Washington State is only allowing 15 points per game. USC 19.5, and there are many who feel USC has the best defense in the conference, and yet Washington State has been excellent defensively this year. But Oregon State right there, they are third in scoring defense, second total defense, first in pass defense in the Pac-10 conference.
Washington State comes into the game about 35% on third down conversion.
Keagle to the air, and it was intended for his slot man Scott Lundy, but Lundy can't catch it as Keagle's pass too tall, and it will be 3 and out for Washington State.
Steve, a bit of a dangerous pass down the field, third and long. Looks like he lofted that one up a little bit. And on the interception on the first play for Washington State, looked like Keagle appeared to throw off his back foot, and looks like he did it again there on third and down.
Well, he is not completely healthy, as we see Kyle Basler, who's averaging 44 yards per punt, second in the conference to Tom Malone of the University of Southern California. And Basler, man, he hammers this one high in the air. Placing back with a fair catch at his 14-yard line. 52 yards in the punt and no return. 11:40 left in the first quarter. Late October in the Palouse, you'll see a lot of rain, but today an absolutely gorgeous afternoon for college football. Temperature 60 degrees, just a slight breeze out of the west, and Washington State wants to make noise. Their defense has been excellent this year, and right now they've got Oregon State starting their second possession backed up at their 14-yard line. Anderson will send a man in motion to the right side. Anderson is sacked and fumbles the football. Washington State has it. Isaac Brown to the 2-yard line. Darting on the blitz.
Steve, sellout crowds behind him, but here is Dirting, pow, and just drives Anderson into the ground. Isaac Brown there to recover the ball and try to do something with it. He almost got in the end zone. Watch Durding come off the edge. Pow! He comes in, just rockets into Anderson. Boy, Durding is a heck of a player, Steve. That outside linebacker, he's playing as well as any linebacker in the country right now. 6'0", 237-pounder. Look at that, 27 takeaways this year, second in the nation. The defense has scored 4. They almost scored their 5th there, and right now Matt Kegel at the controls inside the 5.
If they score here, they'll be close to 100 points scored off turnovers this year. They've scored 92 points off turnovers. That, I think, is the single most reason they are ranked number 6 in the nation. Their defense is plus 14 in turnovers this year. Here is our virtual poll question today. Who is the greatest NCAA football coach of all time? Bobby trying to go ahead of Joe Paterno of Penn State as Bear Bryant, John McKay, and you know Mike Riley, he was a safety. He played defensive back for Bear Bryant in the early 1970s.
That's right.
Go online. There's Mike Riley, quarterback, Corvallis High School, and then went to Alabama to play for the Bear. We've got a college football Saturday coming your way. It's Arizona State against UCLA. Matt Moore is going to make the start for the Bruins today. That is a contest you can watch right after this ball game with Washington State and Oregon State for Pullman.
That's right. Both teams playing pretty good right now. Arizona State, of course, starting to get it heated up with Andrew Walter at quarterback. And you said Matt Moore is going to quarterback that Bruin offense. They were a little sluggish under Drew Olson, but came around. That defense is, we've seen some good defenses this year in the Pac-10, Steve. Washington State, of course, really tenacious, dynamic defense. And, of course, giving their offense loads of opportunity. They've outscored opponents 75-8 in the first quarter alone this year.
Jonathan Smith is the running back. And he will get the carry, and he cuts to the left side. How did he stay on his feet for the touchdown? I thought he would be cut down at the 3, but Smith with great balance scores the first touchdown for the Cougars.
Steve, I was talking to Kelly Skipper, the running backs coach, before the game. I said, how good is Jonathan Smith? He goes, Tom, he can cut on a dime. Watch that right there. Boy, you know what? Those are the running back drills right there. Put your arm down. Don't hit the ground. Don't let your knee hit the ground. Knifed it, cut on a dime, and got in the end zone. 6 points for the Cougs.
Well, Bill Doba said one of the keys to beating Oregon State, start early. They have now outscored the opponents 82-8 in the first quarter on this touchdown by Jonathan Smith. Jonathan Smith with his 4th rushing touchdown this year. And check this out, Rams. I mean, this is a team, Bill Doba says he wants to stab a knife into the confidence of the other team. They've only trailed for 19 minutes in the first quarter this year. Back team, Josh Hawkins, they will run the reverse, and it's not going to work out. Boy, was that read beautifully.
Oh, it was terribly executed. I'll tell you that. Why would you run a reverse that way? When he got the ball, Steve, he's heading, when Eric Williams got the ball, watch it. He gets the ball in the end zone, but watch Williams now. He's going this way. You got to be coming around this way. Oh, man. Well, what happens, the guys running down in their lanes, they see everything happening. They don't see a guy come from the perimeter or the peripheral and come around and get the ball. Ouch. Last
time Oregon State started from the 14. Now they start from their own 7. Jackson will try and get him out of trouble. He hammers the right side. He's past the 10-yard line to around the 11. And Steven Jackson is a man who is averaging 132 yards per game rushing this year. That is 3rd in the nation. Derek Knight of Boston College leads the country, 134 yards per game, but just 5 yards rushing on 3 carries. And Steven Jackson, as Tom Ramsey told you before the game, he was held to his lowest total of the year last week against Washington. Only 49 yards on 22 carries. What did the Huskies do that maybe the Cougars are trying to do?
Well, they put Terry Johnson at defensive end and screwed up Oregon State's blocking schemes, I'll tell you that.
Well, already Derek Anderson, who's coming off a very poor game against the Huskies, has started poorly. He has fumbled the ball that's led to a touchdown. Now he has tripped on his lineman's foot.
Yeah, the quarterback's nightmare is when the offensive lineman, Steve, steps back and catches your foot, nails it to the ground, and you're trying to move one way and he's moving the other, but he's about 350 pounds and you're about, give or take 2 bills. 220.
3rd down and 10. Blitz is on. Anderson underneath to James Newsom, but he cannot get out of the clutches of the defensive back, Don Turner.
It's going to be close, Steve. I think they're going to come up short. Believe Newsom got tackled. That's right before the 1st down marker. It'll be 4th down now. 4th down, they didn't get enough. Oregon State comes in. They were doing pretty well on 3rd down conversion too, 41.5%. Don't convert that time and bring on Toby.
Sammy Moore, right side, cut down at the 45-yard line. Well, this past week, the Pac-10 Conference in all of college football lost one of the greats as Dee Andros passed away at the age of 79. This guy was a hero in World War II, won a Bronze Star in the Battle of Iwo Jima. Then he was the coach from 1965 on, athletic director, worked in the financial department, raising funds for the university. Just a wonderful gentleman, Dee Andros, who was called the Great Pumpkin. And that's because on the sideline he'd wear that bright orange jacket, and they wear the football on their helmets with the D on it. Dee Andros passing away this week at his home in Corvallis, Oregon. Kegel going deep. DeVar Darling tried to make a remarkable catch. There is a flag down back at the line of scrimmage.
Trying to get the ball down the field to the big receiver, Darling, Steve, who's been so productive for the Cougars. That time trying to get the ball down the field. Personal foul on Oregon State. I like the play call myself. Mike Levenseller, Steve.
Personal foul on the defense. 15-yard penalty, previous spot. Automatic first down.
Telling us what's going on. Mike Levenseller, the offensive coordinator, Steve, watch. They're gonna send 3 guys deep. Okay, and right here's Darling. They got a nice one-on-one down here. So Kegel's read takes him down to the bottom of the screen. Take the one-on-one any day of the week. Try to get the ball down to the big DeVar Darling, 6'3", 213-pound junior. It's a nice little matchup.
But one more penalty for Oregon State, the most heavily penalized team in the conference. Kegel goes right side and is knocked down by Jonathan Pollard, the outside linebacker. A nice play there. And when we talked with Mike Riley, the Oregon State head coach, early in the week, we asked him the keys to victory, and he said, #1, play through adversity. This is a football team that has suffered 81 penalties in 7 games, 116 penalty yards per game. And last week, 15 for 141. How do you win a game like that?
Yeah, they're lucky they didn't have 200 yards of penalties last week.
On 2nd down, Kegel tries to throw it away. I mean, he looked first at his running back, Jonathan Smith, but the coverage was so strong from Jonathan Pollard, he had to simply throw it away.
Yeah, right now, the right tackle, Charles Harris, Steve, he's on roller skates. Watch him. He's going to end up, he's just getting pushed around. Baptiste there. And the play before, he got steamrolled by Dewan Edwards and put Kegel on his back. 2 weeks ago, Charles Harris was a scout team player, Steve. George Arno, the offensive line coach, has been working with him. Of course, they had the injury to Sam Lightbody. He had a shoulder stinger and is out today. Tough for the Cougars right now, 3rd and 10.
And Oregon State showing blitz. They come from the corner, and Kegel fires it left. Lundy with the catch, and Lundy comes up short of the 1st down. I think, Rams, if he dives, he gets the 1st down.
But don't run out of bounds. Cut it back in. This isn't 2-minute offense. Stay back in. Make a cut. Try to get the yards. Lundy gets the ball. Watch. Okay, right now you got a lot of green, right? You know where the sticks are. Well, those guys are coming pretty fast. I'll give Lundy a benefit of the doubt. Bring on, I'd say bring on, well, then maybe they'll go for it right here, which I think they're going to do.
You thought they should bring on Drew Dunning for close to a 50-yard field goal, the way their defense has been playing?
Drew Dunning's been on fire. Hey, points are points. I'll take more points. 4th and 1, I like the call.
And Smith leans forward, but he does not get it. He needed to get to the 30-yard line and will come up 1 yard shy.
Well, there's that Oregon State defense.
Now 0 for 5 on 4th downs this year.
Yep, total defense. Oregon State, they're tough. They're right behind Washington State, just allowing 317 yards, but 4th down, boy, they swarm to the football, Steve. Siegler right there. Juwan Edwards, both Siegler and Edwards going on, already accepting invitations to the East-West Shrine All-Star game at the end of the season. Really are the linchpins of that defense.
We've been watching Siegler start now for 4 years in the conference. Finally, he's a senior. Boy, what a linebacker. Anderson back to the air, fires and completes the pass, but just a short gain to his wide receiver, Cole Clayson.
Clayson, they haven't had the production, Steve, out of that slot position, whether it be Clayson or whether it be Kenny Farley. That slot position's really got to support that offense, and you got to have guys produce, because James Newsom has had the bulk of the work. Newsom down here at the bottom, he's been getting the majority of the balls. Of course, number 2 in the country, he should be getting them.
Jackson, not much there, and they stuff him at the line of scrimmage. And it seems like instead of the reverse, the running game opening up the passing game, they need the passing game to open up the running game for Steven Jackson.
You know, I argue, because Steven Jackson, you got to continually feed him the ball. They may stop him for a 1-yard gain. They may stop him for a 2-yard gain, but he will get the carries. I was talking to Jonathan Smith, of course, the great record-setting quarterback of the Beavers before the game, and he said, Tom, we got to keep giving him the work, even on 3rd down, even 3rd and long, right here, 3rd and 6.
He only has 5 yards on 4 carries early in this game. Anderson back, blitzes on. Anderson throws, it's incomplete. And again, the blitz came from Isaac Brown, left end, who got in the face of Anderson and may have hit him as his right arm was coming forward.
Anderson's under a lot of duress right now, Steve. They are coming hard. And what happens in a 3rd and long situation? See all the movement? They're playing zone blitz behind it. Watch, they're bringing people right there. Don Jackson comes in, Isaac Brown there to put the hit on him. 3rd and 6, you can play your whole repertoire of defense. And Rob Akey has it coming every which way. They've almost blocked the last 2 punts, Steve.
Oh, they got problems again on Oregon State.
Well, Washington State has gone after the last 2 Carl Tobey punts. They almost got the last 2.
And that's why the right guard was firing back a little early.
You bet.
Here's a flag on the play against OSU.
10 ball start on the offense, 5-yard penalty, field goal.
We are here in Pullman, Washington at Martin Stadium, the number 6 team in the nation, the Washington State Cougars, entertaining the Oregon State Beavers, who came in with a record of 5-2. Washington State has had a lot of success this year on special teams plays. They have blocked 2 punts, 2 field goals, and 2 extra points this year. And let's see as Sammy Moore drops back, standing at his own 27-yard line, awaiting the punt from Carl Tobey.
15 seconds on the clock, please.
Steve, you're right. They were drawing off sides a time before because the pressure they're bringing.
Tobey just barely got it away again. They've got to strengthen that out. Moore cut down at the 33-yard line. This week, Fox NFL Sunday begins with America's #1 pregame show. Then the Cowboys look to win their 6th straight game when they take on the Buccaneers team trying to rebound from a tough loss. Or the 49ers look to make it 2 in a row as they battle a Cardinals team trying to get back on track, or other regional action. Coverage begins tomorrow at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific on Fox. First down for Washington State, Matt Kegel. from the 34-yard line, the quarterback. And he hands that football off to Jonathan Smith, who escapes right side, and Smith out of bounds near the 43-yard line, very close to a first down.
Washington State is going to spread you out, Steve. That's really the name of their game. They will spread you out sideline to sideline. Watch Smith. They do a nice job sealing right there. Then Jonathan Smith gets in space. Look how good he is right there. Quick feet. JC transfer out of Pasadena City College. And they like Jonathan Smith. He has been toting the ball quite a bit. Number 4 in the conference in rushing.
Smith again looks to get the first down. Needed to get just past the 44-yard line. It appears to get it as Richard Siegler makes his 3rd tackle of the game. But Matt Kegel, what about his story? Last week he led the team to victory over Stanford, threw for 331 yards and 3 touchdowns, but he also dislocated his left shoulder in the game and has subluxation already in his right shoulder. Bill Doba said he should be fine because he doesn't have any shoulders left to injure.
Doba's always looking at the positive.
Yes, he is. Well, he learned that from Mike Price, who coached here for years, and Bill Doba worked on his staff as the defensive coordinator, and he still credits Mike Price, his great friend, with so much of the success that has come to Washington State.
That's right. You know, I tell you, first-year coach Bill Doba doing a great job, but Mike Price really set this thing in motion, Steve, and Mike Price is going to be back in the college football landscape. I promise you that. He's as good a coach as there is out there, and boy, I'd hire him in a heartbeat. He's probably up at Coeur d'Alene with my friend Jerry Jagger right now, maybe hitting towards that floating green where our director Doug Freeman and I have ventured off to once or twice.
I'll bet you he's watching his friend Bill Doba.
He is. I bet you he's in. You know what? I asked Mike Levenseller today. I said, "Is he going to be in the stands today?" He said, "Tom, he very well could be."
Still revered here in this area. Kegel steps up, fires right. Smith can't hold on to the 50-yard line.
Nice footwork that time by Matt Kegel, Steve, and you saw his escapability, just you say he's playing without shoulders, but he's still got feet. That's what makes a quarterback these days. You got to have quick enough feet to avoid pressure, roll away from pressure, and then make something happen.
He is 2 for 7 in the game for 20 yards. Kegel left last week's game holding his left shoulder with 13-14 left after a blitzing linebacker Jared Newberry flattened him from the blind side, but he returned 2 series later. There's the dump off to Smith, who has an open lane, and he's past the 50, close to a first down. I think he'll be about 1.5 yards shy.
Steve, one of the things that Washington State wanted to do this week, they're running a 3-by-1. Essentially, they got 3 wideouts to this side, but they bring the ball this side this time. They bring it to the 1 receiver side. DeVar Darling's out in front with a nice block, as well as Charles Harris, a young freshman lineman, and then the rest is all Jonathan Smith. Nice job coming out of the backfield, catching the ball and getting a big gain.
It's a 3rd down and 2. Wide left, Sammy Moore. To the right, DeVar Darling. Kegel fires left, and they get the first down barely to Chris Jordan, the redshirt freshman. Let's send you to our College Football Saturday studio for a Kyocera game break.
Visit is final in Seattle. Number 5 USC at Washington. Here's the sophomore Matt Liner. Just dumps it over the middle to the tailback Reggie Bush. He'll go 60 yards for the score. USC wins 43-23. That sets up next week Washington State at USC.
And that'd be a heck of a game at the Coliseum, as USC just playing excellent football since their 3 overtime loss at California. The Trojans are now 7-1. Kegel back to throw. He wants to go deep again off his back leg, and he completes the pass, and there's a flag down. DeVar Darling with a terrific play. 34 yards.
That's a heck of a catch. You said it, Steve. He throws off his back foot, but he got the ball out enough. Watch, Darling over Browner. Not sure what the flag was. Take a look, see if we can find it. Might have been a hand to the face. Browner up in Darling's grill.
Pass interference on the defense. Penalties declined. First down.
Last thing Mike Riley wanted to do was get down early on the road.
Steve, one of the things I like about this WSU offense, and they've done such a great job of remaining balanced, and you can do that when you have a great defense, because SC does the same thing. Norm Chow and Mike Levenseller, the offensive coordinator here, Washington State came in 269 runs, 261 passes. That's balanced.
We had
7
whistles.
games. That is balanced. Remember how close SC was a couple weeks ago? Norm Chow was like, they were like 2 plays differential.
It was like 351 to 349 pass to
pretty
run.
amazing. And you can do that with great defenses.
Prior to the snap, false start on the offense, 5-yard penalty, still first
When
down.
you have a great defense to support you, you can run the ball a little more, burn the clock a little bit, maybe run it on 3rd down when a team's expecting pass. So you can get away with certain things because, like you said, you can have that defense come out on the field and make some stops. But right now, Matt Kegel, who's done a great job at the controls this year for the Cougars, over center with a 1st and 15.
Blitz is on. Kegel to throw. End zone. Darling. Did he hold on? Touchdown, Washington State.
Hey, Steve, this is one of the best route runners. Watch this route. It's a stop route. Okay, he's throwing it to his back shoulder right here. Kegel knows exactly what Darling's doing. He's working the defender. Darling keeps Browner inside. Kegel throws the ball on his backside, back shoulder. Easy throw, great catch. Touchdown, Cougars.
And the Cougars trying to move up, not only in the conference, but in the national scene. They have a 14-0 lead over Oregon State. Washington State has taken an early 14-0 lead on Oregon State. Beavers need some kind of break, some kind of big play, but with the kick so deep by Sidarius, it means Oregon State must start from their own 20-yard line. Here's the touchdown, Kegel to Darling.
Well, see how Matt Kegel, he shaded the plate, Steve. He shades it left of the defender. DeVard Darling able to use that big body. The Nissan scoring drive, 7 plays, 66 yards, 2:02 off the clock. 15th career TD catch for DeVard Darling, who has really come into his own as a Cougar and really is, I think, a productive, great possession receiver for that Cougar offense.
Steven Jackson off the right side slams his way to the 25-yard line, gain of 5. And Rams, when you talk about receivers in the conference, you always start with Mike Williams and Reggie Williams. But look at the great receivers throughout the league. James Newsom, who hardly nobody talks about here in the Pac-10,
well,
number 2.
A lot of defensive coordinators talk about James Newsom.
But I'm talking national picture. DeVard Darling, Luke Howell, Stanford, Jeff MacArthur of Cal.
I know the pro scouts are all over Newsom. You can't miss him.
This league has great receivers this year, and here's Steven Jackson slugging his way for a couple. He'll still be about 3 yards shy of a first down. But James Newsom, not too many people know that he's second in the nation to Larry Fitzgerald, 126 yards per game receiving, averaging 18 yards a catch. He owns the Oregon State record with 175 grabs.
Yeah, he owns a ton of career marks. A lot. Career catches, touchdown. He's closing in on the all-time touchdown mark for receivers. Right now, just get him the ball. 3rd and short.
Blitz is on. They throw it over the middle, and Steven Jackson will grab the football and get the first down by just a yard. Or are they calling it incomplete? They're calling it incomplete.
Ball bounced off. Will Durden was on the coverage, and the ball just ricocheted out of there. And Steve, it's just Derek Anderson tried to squeeze the ball in. Watch him come out right here. Oh, actually, ball was knocked down by the lineman. Jeremy Williams, number 95, was the one that got his big mitt out there. Now keep an eye on Eric Coleman once again. He's right in the middle.
Toby this time has a little more room, but hustled the punt, and it is taken 31-yard line by Jason David. Fair catch. Well, we talked with Bill Doba, the Washington State head coach, of the toughness of Matt Kegel playing with 2 damaged shoulders.
We're trying to protect Matt as much as we can. He's pretty well beat up, but I'd like to say this about him. I don't know of any quarterback in the country that can dislocate a shoulder, miss that next play, come out for one serious, and go right back there and play again. He's one tough hombre. He's a good football player.
And he wound up with 331 yards passing and 3 touchdowns in the game, and 2 of those touchdown passes came after he dislocated his shoulder. The reverse, and Darling wants to throw. Now he'll run wisely as his man was covered, and Darling will gain about 5-6 yard tackle by Brandon Browner.
You know why Keagle's so tough? He's got Tim Rosenbaugh as his quarterback's coach, and that's as tough as they come, brother. I like the call here. A little reverse pass. Why not? Draw one up in the sand once in a while and let it fly. They're good at running those trick plays. I'll tell you what else they're good at, Steve. Since the 2001 season, the start of the season, Washington State's record is 26-6, and they're the 6th best team record-wise in the country. Think about it. Only Miami's 31-1 over that span. Oklahoma 30-4. Ohio State, Texas, Georgia, then WSU. That's pretty darn impressive. I'd get on the loud horn if I was the Cougars and tell the nation. I'll take that.
They were awfully strong again last year as they tied USC for the conference championship, finishing the year with a record of 10-3 and
Steve,
losing to Oklahoma in the Rose Bowl.
Look at this. This is impressive. I mean, the last 3 years, these are the best teams in college football. They're the winningest team in the Pac-10. Bill Doba, where is Florida State? Where are some of the other teams?
Florida?
Yeah, I know where Florida is this year.
Nebraska?
Yeah, they're not there. They're not there. Washington
USC,
State.
Washington.
Very impressive. And think about how hard it is to play on the road, especially in this conference. Southeastern Conference, very tough as well.
Keagle over the middle. It's intercepted by Mitch Musin. Musin has a big line of grain to the right side. He gets to the 10 and will score.
45-yard interception return by Mitch Musin, number 5.
Oh, and you know how I feel about tip balls, Steve. Tip balls are dangerous. They tend to go the other way. Musin's right there, free safety. Ball gets tipped. Musin just keeping his eye on the ball, playing a middle of the field free safety, and then just showing good speed. He's a big kid, 6'3", about 220-pounder. Musin there to take it over for the defensive score for the Beavers. Costly mistake that time. Boy, don't tip the ball. When the ball goes up in the air, Keagle's throwing 3 balls over the middle, soft balls over the middle today. 2 have been picked off.
Mike Riley really felt that his team need to be plus in the turnovers to have a chance. They are +1, and a big play interception by Mitch Musin. Mitch Musin, the junior from Forest Grove, Oregon, a geography major. Well, he had the land covered in the middle, and he picks off his pass. The 4th interception for him this season, the 12th in his career, and he runs it back 45 yards for a touchdown to get Oregon State right back in this game. The momentum was clearly in Washington State's favor. Now the Beavers back in it. And Sammy Moore comes out, and he rips it past the 30. And Sammy Moore is to midfield. Well, that'll get you right back in the game.
Sammy Moore is fast. He is fast. Take a look on our Fox Sky camera. Mitch Musin's there, Steve. They're going to try to get the ball down here. Ball gets tipped. Watches Keagle sets, and ball gets tipped. All of a sudden, Musin there making the play. And, with the motion, brought the receiver in. Really no one out on the perimeter to make the play. And then, boy, Swancut got a nice block out in front for the Beavers. Take a look at Mitch Musin. Forest Grove, Oregon, 211-pounder.
He's one of those safeties who was a quarterback in high school, so you understand what the offense is all about, what they're trying to do to the safety.
Hit ball, late hit, bounds on the defense, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Jay Strikert, another personal foul by Oregon State, Steve, and this is what really cost them last week. I mean, all of a sudden you have that field position game, but then to kind of put the double whammy on top of it. You get a personal foul call. They add an extra 15 yards. That hurts. That's just, what Mike Riley told him after the game, you got to be able to handle adversity. Throughout the course of the game, you have good things happen, you have bad things happen, but handle the bad things.
Well, here's a good thing by Oregon State as they stuffed Jonathan Smith for a loss of 3 or 4. Let's send you to our College Football Saturday studio for a Kyocera game break.
Steve, as we mentioned in the kickoff show, with Penn State losing, Bobby Bowden an opportunity to climb to the top of the coaching mountain. He celebrates win number 339, passes Joe Pa for the lead as Florida State beats Wake Forest in Tallahassee. Congratulations goes to Bobby Bowden.
Question is Florida State trying to get right back on track, but Joe Paterno's Penn State Nittany Lions lost at Iowa today, 339 to 338. And there's Bear Bryant in third place now. Kegel to the right side, and Trandon Harvey is stuffed at the original line of scrimmage. It will be 3rd down and 10. Eric Williams with a big-time hit.
Sure was. He broke on the ball nice, Steve, and really lit up the receiver that time. I read something this week where they asked Joe Paterno, do you care about, getting that 339th win? He said, no, I really don't. Come on. Give me a break. You're in coaching for this long. You care about every win. Of course you care about it. Why else you coaching? Man, come on now. If you can't be true to yourself, who can you be true to, huh? 3rd and 10, Cougars.
And they've got 3 wide to the left side. The lone man on the right is DeVard Darling. Kegel sacked back at the 42-yard line. What a play by Jason Jean-Baptiste. Sounds like a French trapper from Lewis and Clark days. Jason Jean-Baptiste. It's a College Football Saturday here in Pullman. And it's 14-7, Washington State over Oregon State. The beautiful fall colors in the Palouse, and what a gorgeous afternoon. The temperature has dipped down to 55 degrees now. We still have a slight breeze out of the west between 3 to 5 miles an hour. And on to punt for Washington State, Kyle Bosler to Cole Clayson, who's standing at his 10. Anything over his head, let it go, and Clayson will let this go. It hits at the 10-yard line. Bosler has it go into the end zone. It will be 1st down from the 20-yard line. Let's go back, check out the first quarter as Derek Anderson got slugged by Will Durting. He fumbled the football. Isaac Brown got it to the 2, and then Jonathan Smith would run it in. Great balance by Jonathan Smith.
Really was. And then, of course, Matt Kegel throwing to DeVard Darling. Shaden and Darling with a great catch. And then, Steve, it was the pick that Kegel all of a sudden tip ball. Mitch Musin grabs it, goes 45 yards for the Beavers score to make this a very close game.
14-7, but neither team has been able to run the ball at all. Only 8 yards rushing for Oregon State and 7 for Washington State. And they stretch it out. And Steven Jackson isn't even running for 1 yard per carry. There is a flag down because they took Jackson well out of the picture. And that's a shame because you get a great defensive play led by Don Jackson and you get a hold on it.
One of the things that makes this Washington State defense so good, Steve, they have an experienced defensive line. The other team we've seen a lot this year, the USC Trojans, experienced defensive line. Then you got a good core of linebackers, fast linebackers that play behind those guys. So that defensive line is able to string it out and hold a guy like Steven Jackson to very little rushing yardage so far today. But linebackers are able just to run him down.
Illegal block in the back on the offense. Penalties decline. Down is 2.
And you saw the graphic a moment ago, 8 players starting, with all that game experience. And when you have that kind of experience on defense, especially in the front 4, you're there making plays. I mean, they got Tupai, Machalanu at end, and Isaac Brown at end. And those are 2 quick, fast buggers. I'll tell you now, they bring it. They bring it off the edge.
Combined, they have 41 sacks, Machalanu and Brown. Anderson changing the play. Three-step drop completes the pass to Mike Haas, and Haas gets the first down. This is the walk-on from Portland Jesuit High School, who's really been an excellent surprise and now starting at wide receiver.
And Steve, what they're able to do with a guy like Achelanu, watch, they bring him off, watch, he goes back into zone blitz, and then they bring the linebacker off the corner. So constantly on first down, Rob Akey has his guys. You see so much more zone blitz now defensively in college football. It's not a thing that the pro football guys are only doing on Sunday. I mean, they're dropping into pass coverage. Right there, Achelanu again. Keep an eye on him.
Anderson misses George Gillette, his target, badly back at the 40-yard line. I'm not sure if Anderson saw a corner step up, but it looked like he had plenty of room to get that ball to George Gillette. So 3 for 7 for Derek Anderson, who only completes 49% of his passes on the season.
Yeah, that's probably the one. You know, he puts up big yards, man. I mean, he is the #1 guy coming in the Pac-10 in yards per game, almost 290 yards a game, but he's 10th in passing efficiency in the Pac-10.
Blitz on. Anderson downfield, and he overthrows James Newsom, who is wide open, and Newsom is hot, and Anderson has his left foot untied on the play.
Steve, James Newsom wide open. And it really does make Mike Riley watch. Newsom's going to come in, just run a square, and I mean, how open can you get, but how bad can you miss him? He can't hit the barn over in the other side of the Palouse over here by a throw like that.
And it was man coverage. It wasn't like, where's the safety?
Hey,
the safety wasn't there.
You make the throw, and Newsom's probably still running. Newsom up here, one-on-one, 3rd and 10, Beavers. 0 for 4 today on 3rd down.
Again, the blitz is on. Anderson stepping away from it. Down he goes at the 24-yard line. The 3rd sack by Washington State already. They have 27 now this year.
And Will Durding, number 51, the guy there to take Anderson down. You see Anderson a little nimble, able to move. All of a sudden, his eyes aren't down the field, though, Steve. His eyes were on number 51 coming to sack him.
Durding has 2 sacks. Bill Doba told us about Will Durding, who is a Cowboy. Boy, another tremendous punt. Sammy Moore takes it at the 16-yard line. And Moore is to the 23. 59 yards on the punt, 6 yards on the return. Washington State has a 7-point lead on Oregon State. Cougars with some great defense today. Those are the 3 starting linebackers for Washington State. Will Durding in the middle already has 2 sacks in the game, and he is a Cowboy. His family owns a cattle ranch in Okanogan, Washington. And Bill Doba said about Will, he's one of those linebackers you don't want to say too much to, just sick him, Will. And he has gotten to Derek Anderson twice in this game, once forcing the fumble that led to their first touchdown as it was recovered and run back to the 2-yard line by defensive end Isaac Brown. Baptiste playing a strong game defensively, and he cuts down Washington State, and again they face another 2nd and long situation.
Leon Burnett, one of the coaches on Washington State, coaching those Cougar linebackers, Steve. And that's the thing, I like Doba's staff. He's got, really does have a great group of coaches, both offense and defense, and boy, it shows, you know, when you got that continuity in the program, and all of a sudden you see that 26-6 record since 2001. I mean, they're doing a lot of good things here at Pullman.
Kegel, play action pass. Downfield he goes, and it is intercepted by Mitch Musin, his 2nd pick of the afternoon. Jean-Baptiste was in the face of Kegel, and Matt Kegel, who only came in with 4 interceptions, has 3 in the first half.
And Steve, I said he's good at protecting the football, but today, watch, there's someone right in his face. You throw off your back foot when you got someone in your face, ball floats, and it was like the receiver didn't even see the ball. Musin saw it the whole way. Musin saw it come out of Kegel's hands, and I believe he was trying to get the ball to Adam West, the reserve tight end, Steve, and West just never saw the ball when Musin broke on it. Has his 2nd pick of the day. Keagle's third interception, as you said.
Well, Musin has given Oregon State an opportunity to get back in this game. The first interception, he ran back for 45 yards, and their only touchdown. Now great field position at the 40. Anderson going deep, intended for Haas. Touchdown! Did he hold on? No, he did not. He had it in his arms, and then Pema stripped it away.
Haas, the former walk-on who earned a scholarship this year in fall camp, Steve. The ball right on the money. Derek Anderson, watch this. He drops it in the bucket here, Steve. This is right on the money. Now, that was a Willie Mays type catch that Haas was trying to come down with, but the ball, watch it come down right through the arms. Oh, man, that hurts. Nice coverage by Pema.
That will hurt also on Monday when he watches it in the tape room with the coaches. Pass is broken up, no flags down as the breakup by Eric Coleman. Pressure from Don Jackson and Isaac Brown on the quarterback Anderson. It will be 3rd down and 10.
Boy, those are the plays, that you just got to hit. It's not a big throw right there. Kenny Farley not able to come down with the football. Now you got another long yardage situation, so Washington State's going to be in their pressure defense. Again, they may zone blitz here. Keep an eye on 51, Durding. Durding's right here.
Durding does not blitz. Anderson steps up. Broken up. Again, a pass that was forced to George Gillette. Carl Pema knocks it down. And looks like Gillette may have run the wrong way.
Anderson, Steve, the ball's not coming out real smooth right now. For whatever reason, Washington State's pretty good defensively, so there's a lot of color flashing in front of Derek Anderson. Jonathan Smith probably needs to get over there and talk to him a little bit. Say, hey, just settle down. Just hit the open, stay with the open guy, go through your progression.
Well, they went away from Steven Jackson that time, who has just 12 yards rushing on 7 carries. And they have the football at the 40-yard line. They kill the play at the 1-yard line. Another marvelous punt by Oregon State's Carl Tobey. He's hit one for 59. Now he nails one inside the 5 at the 1. College Football Saturday on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by Kyocera, the new value frontier. By Yamaha, makers of fine motorcycles and ATVs. Nobody is more in tune with motorsports than Yamaha. And by Sony PlayStation 2. Live in your world, play in ours. Steve Physiak, Tom Ramsey with you. Benny the Beaver hoping that defense will play well here as Oregon State's Carl Tobey dropped the football at the 1-yard line. So Washington State has 99 yards to go. Jordan wide to the left. Lone setback is Jonathan Smith, and they will run the quarterback sneak, and they gain nothing. Nose tackle Dwan Edwards was there to stuff him right in his spot.
And Dwan Edwards is a great story, Steve, just in the progression of a college football player. Here's a guy who was a Montana kid, 3-sport athlete, played fullback, rushed for almost 800 yards, averaged about 7 yards a carry, turned into a great defensive tackle, also played basketball.
I like the fact that 3 times he was his class president.
Isn't that cool? Yeah, great
kid.
GPA, yeah, coming into Oregon State. But really, I mean, talk about maximizing your opportunity. And he's one of the top defensive tackles that will be in the upcoming NFL draft. They like him. They like his energy. And here's when you play running back and then go to defensive tackle, that's pretty impressive.
He's 305 pounds now.
Prior to the snap, ball start on the offense. Penalties enforced half the distance to the goal. 2nd down.
Rams, I wanted to ask you about the pressure that Matt Keagle might be feeling. Here's a guy who's thrown 3 interceptions in the game. He is not completely healthy. Both shoulders are hurt. What's it like on a quarterback?
I think it has affected his throwing, Steve. We talked about it at commercial. The shoulder injuries he suffered will affect you in throwing the ball down the field. It's tough.
Chris Jordan gets him out of trouble to midfield.
It's tough unless you have Chris Jordan. beating Eric Williams. That's a heck of a throw right there. That time, though, he got ample protection, Steve. No one in his face. Watch Keegle set up here. Dwan Edwards right up the middle, but Keegle set his feet, stepped into the throw, Steve, got the ball down the field. Jordan, gain of 49. And again, they love Jordan. He's a big play guy, the freshman out of Kent, Washington. Chris Jordan.
Third catch of the game for 64 yards. He now has 24 in the season. And they say he is a wonderful talent and might be their next great wide receiver. And Darling graduates in a couple of years, and he might fill the spot of Sammy Moore, who's a senior. Jonathan Smith escapes for about 3, maybe 4 yards to the 46-yard line in Oregon State territory. Trent Bray making the tackle. There's Trent, number 44. His father was an assistant coach here at Washington State, and Trent committed to Washington State. But when his father, Craig, became the defensive coordinator at Oregon State, Trent left his commitment and went to Corvallis.
That's right. Yeah.
Now Craig's
Craig's coaching down at the University of Arizona, and Trent Bray really again really maximizing opportunity here, finding a place at outside linebacker with the Beaver defense, and local product, Pullman High School product. Some real good players out of Pullman High. Pat Beach, a former Washington State Cougar, Indianapolis Colt, living out on the western peninsula of Washington now. And it's fun when you catch up with like Tim Rosenbaum before the game. I said, hey, where's Pat Beach these days? He's living near the beach. Okay, that figures.
Didn't Rosenbaum play at Pullman High School?
No, he didn't.
Was it Mark Rippon then? One of their great quarterbacks went to Pullman High. It is third down here, and Keegle looks downfield, and he will be sacked. He tried to throw it away, but I believe his knee was down at midfield. Bill Swancutt was chasing him and has his 5th sack of the season.
Swancutt, Steve, is one of these unsung heroes. Just keeps bringing the pressure, playing hard. Takedown for Swancutt. Boy, his motor's running.
On 4th and 11, Bosler must kick it to Cole Clayson, who stands at his 10-yard line. He's at the line of demarcation. You let it go. He's going to call for the fair catch here up near the 20-yard line. There was no fair catch, and I thought he should have, because he was surrounded by nothing but red jerseys.
He was in a lot of traffic that time.
Plenty of emotion here in Pullman as the Beavers try to upset the Cougars.
Coming up on the Nissan Halftime Report, I'll be joined by the Hall of Famers Kellen Winslow and Billy Ray Smith. Scores and highlights, including all the Pac-10 action. And then there were 3. Some upsets, some surprises. Fizz, Tom Ramsey, all coming up shortly on the Nissan Halftime Report. Back to you in Pullman.
3 unbeatens left: Oklahoma, Miami, and Texas Christian. Well, there are a few unbeatens in conference play in the Pac-10 conference, and one of them is Washington State at 3-0, entertaining Oregon State at 2-1. Steven Jackson muscles his way for about 5 yards, but this is only the 8th carry of the first half for Steven Jackson for just 16 yards. And look at the offense by Mike Riley. This is a team that came in first in the conference, averaging 461 yards per game. Number 1 total offense, but held to 30 yards on 22 plays and only 1 first down. It is 2nd and 5. Will they give it back to Steven Jackson and get him going? Dirting showing blitz right side, and he does come. They give it to Jackson, and he is cut down for a loss of 2 on the play and may have fumbled the football. Looks like he got it back. Achelano was the man who ripped him.
And Steve, this Washington State defense is relentless. They just pursue to the football. Achelano, Don Jackson, Will Dirting is around the ball all the time. Look at, he's just trying to rifle through. And so Achelano's the one that strips him. Ball does come out. Steven Jackson lucky to recover his own fumble.
Well, Bill Dobie's philosophy is stop Jackson forced Derek Anderson to beat us.
Absolutely.
And Anderson only 3 for 11 for 28 yards, and he's back to the air. Downfield has Newsom for a big first down to the 35-yard line.
Boy, and how did that happen? I'm sitting here watching. Al Genatone sprung out right in front of Newsom, Steve, and it looked like he might have a pick. Keep an eye on 48 right there. He ends up getting right. Oh, man, he almost got his hand on the ball. It's a great shot right there. Newsom came in the picture. Boy, James Newsom has played so well this year out of Stockton, California, the senior. Really doing a great job. Great possession guy, great route runner. Comes back to the football. 74 catches last year.
Anderson back to the air. He was trying to thread the needle to Josh Hawkins, who was open, but Anderson got pressure from the right side of the defense and threw it too early.
You know what it looks like Derek Anderson does sometimes, Steve? Looks to me as though he tries to overthrow the ball. And you know, you gotta talk to the ball. Sometimes you gotta make it work for you. You can't throw it your hardest on every ball you throw, because sometimes you gotta spin it in, sometimes you gotta take a little off it. There's times when you got to fire it between a couple defenders.
You're not going to give me that lecture where the ball is your friend and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Here comes the lecture.
Be the ball, Billy Ray.
2nd and 10, and the pass is dropped by the tight end, Joe Newton, but the throw was very low. It's 3rd and 10, and Anderson has to come up with a big play when he knows Washington State will be blitzing again.
Yeah, they like Newton, too, as a pass catcher, redshirt freshman. Big Joe, 6'7", 254-pounder. So who do you get the ball to? Steve, if you're Oregon State, there's 2 guys.
Number 2
or number 34. And you remember now, Steven Jackson can come. Well, he can come out of the backfield and make something happen. But 3rd down conversions today, they came in at 42%. They're 1 of 7 today.
Anderson downfield he goes, has the first down to Newsom, who bails him out again.
Well, they were able to hold people down the middle of the field, Steve, and Newsom that time, one-on-one coverage. Derek Anderson, vision down the field. Someone got rolled. Might have been Steven Jackson. Watch, nice little push off there. Well, you know you're ready for the next level when you get away with the push off. Kind of makes it look like a real subtle move.
Newsom, a senior from Stockton, California. Derek Anderson, the junior from Scappoose, Oregon. Population 600. Play action pass. Anderson all kinds of time. Goes deep for Newsom and overthrows him at the 15-yard line. The coverage came from Jason David.
You know, Steve, a few moments ago we saw that graphic that Oregon State had 30 yards on their first 22 plays, and the score's only 14-7. And Mike Riley, look at this, nice little slanting up right here. And Jason David does a nice job of holding on to Newsom. But you know, if you ask Mike Riley, hey, Mike, you only got 30 yards in the first 22 plays, but it's 14-7, he'd say, you know what, that's okay. We're going to get our shots. We've got to keep taking them here, and I just think you got to keep pounding 34.
Mike really feels like this offense, this team, is just scratching the surface of their potential. He feels they're really good. Jackson just gets lit up at the 46-yard line.
He got nailed.
Virgil Williams, the strong safety.
Watch Jackson. He lowers his shoulder and pow, man, he just. Ooh, I think Steven Jackson might have slipped a little bit too. It kind of gave that little extra emphasis pop that we heard it up here though.
But how many times have they done it? I mean, you've got to credit Washington State. They have limited Steven Jackson, one of the top runners in the nation, to 16 yards on 10 carries. Now it's 3rd down and 8, and Anderson calls timeout.
Boy, they've been in long yardage situations all day long, Steve.
Well, our college football presented by Kyocera triple header continues next with Arizona State taking on first place UCLA. College football continues next right here on Fox Sports Net. Check local listings at foxsports.com for the start time in your area. Earlier today, you watched Missouri and Brad Smith beat Texas Tech. And, well, I'll tell you what, Mizzou looks awfully good, and that Smith can play. But in the Pac-10 Conference, Washington State has a duel next week with USC, who is now just a half game behind them. UCLA is at 3-0, and they will be playing Arizona. They will be playing tonight at 7 o'clock against Arizona State. Andrew Walter quarterbacking against Matt Moore, who will make his second start of the year after going out in the first game of the season in an injury to Colorado.
All right, that game following this one, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific.
Alabama and Tennessee are tied at 40.
And I tell you, those are all good teams up top. You know, UCLA's really been getting them with their defense. Pac-10, why did the Pac-10 get that moniker of, well, not a lot of defense out there in the West Coast?
Hey, the San Francisco 49ers had to live with it for years when they were winning, 4 world titles.
That's okay if you're winning.
3rd down and 8. Blitz is on. Anderson steps up, has nowhere to go, tried to force it to Tim Ewis, and now they'll be having to punt the ball away as Dirting was in the face of Anderson again, and there is some shoving going on right around the Oregon State quarterback.
Achelanu again off the edge, Steve. Dirting, Jackson. There, Dirting is around the football. The guy's just the ball hawk. He is a ball hawk. Mike Riley asking what Anderson's seeing. They ran it. They had the right route called. They had a crossing route. They got 2-man underneath, and Anderson's just not able to complete the ball.
The 7th punt coming up for Carl Tobey. He hit one to the 1 in a situation like this and hits this one high in the air. Sammy Moore calls for the fair catch right at the 10-yard line. So another fine punt by Carl Tobey. Now our AT&T wireless trivia question. What former Washington State quarterback Mark Rippon is one of 4 former Pac-10 quarterbacks to start for a Super Bowl winner? Who are the other 3? Now this is Super Bowl winner. Tom Ramsey's brain is
working
turning.
Overtime again.
And you know what? As soon as you find out, you go, oh man, I knew all those guys. Tom Ramsey played in the '85 Super Bowl against those
actually 86
Bears.
86 Super Bowl, 85 season. That's all right. I'd rather forget about that
season.
anyhow. Go Bears.
And Cody Boyd with the catch for Washington State, and he will get the first down up past the 25-yard line.
Okay, I know 2 of the quarterbacks. That is a nice look right there, coming right into your living room or basement with your big screen, HD TV, you know. So it all looks good, man. Okay, I got 3 out of the 4. I'm still struggling on one quarterback. I'll get it here in a moment.
Well, no, if you got the other 3, because Rippon was the 4th.
Oh, I know, but I don't have the X factor. I don't have the one that I don't know.
You got the one who grew up in the neighborhood, though, right?
Oh yeah, got him. That was easy.
Kigo goes down. He is sacked, juggles the football. Oregon State has it. Jonathan Pollard with the strip number 40. It looked like Richard Siegler was on that football. Oh, and Siegler started taunting the fans, and a flag is thrown.
Watch, ball got stripped out. Oregon State recovers. And Steve, you know what? Siegler's he wasn't taunting.
He shouldn't have done what he did.
No, they got to
know the rules.
No, there's a corner of Oregon State fans over in the corner, sold out, Martin Stadium. Jay Streichert, unsportsmanlike conduct. Oregon State. You know what? Come on now. They're 19, 20, 21 years old. Let them celebrate.
Matter. Mike Riley's team is averaging 116 yards in penalties. He's talked to him about the whole week long. Just don't do it.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Conduct on Oregon State University. 15-yard penalty.
He doesn't.
Okay, taunting is one thing. Taunting is getting in your grill and taunting you and pointing your finger. He's not doing this. Watch. He goes over to his fans. Those are his fans over there.
All I'm saying is
taunting?
you have a history of too many penalties. Just don't do anything.
Okay.
Now you're starting from the 38 instead of the 22.
It's a crazy penalty. Taunting is you're sticking the ball in another player's grill after a big gain. That was just emotion.
Steven Jackson finally with some running room, and he will get about 2 yards. Boy, did you see their pursuit? It looked like he had a lane, and it just closed up, and Al Genatone made the tackle.
Steven Jackson, he has great emotion. He just has nowhere to run today. There are absolutely no holes. Genatone inside out, playing the ball. What a good job that was by number 48, Al Genatone, who Bill Doba loves and Rob Akey, the D coordinator, loves. That's just good fundamental football, Steve. Push the ball out to the sideline.
Give it to him again. 2nd down and 7. No, they're going to throw. And they complete the pass to James Newsom. And then he fumbles it, and Washington State has it. No, they'll call it incomplete. One official threw his marker down saying ball down in the field, but the field judge came in and said no, it was an incomplete pass, and Newsom never had it.
Yeah, Rob Akey and Bill Doba inside. They bring Virgil Williams out of the secondary. Newsom, he never did have it. He never did have it, and I thought he did have it, but that was a good call. Good call.
So
referee covering the other referee. Okay, so now another semi-long situation for Oregon State, Steve, and this is where you're really in 2-down territory. You could go for it on 4th down here. If you're Mike Riley, I believe he would go for it here.
Great matchup with Jason David on James Newsom. They're throwing for Newsom, and he was well covered by David, but a poor throw by Anderson.
Steve, he gave away cushion, and all Derek Anderson has to do is put it on number 2. Just stick it on him. Again, they rush right up the middle. Now see, I'm saying put it on him, right? And then you got number 52 right in your face. A little different game from upstairs as it is right on the field. I'll admit to that. Derek Anderson, though, they just tried to get a hitch to Newsom. I think I don't know. Instead of a long 51-yard field goal here, Steve, I think you go for it. You try to get the 1st down. Their defense has been playing well.
Ilanimi's pretty good, though. They need points. He's 8 of 10 this year. He is hit one from 51 this season.
It's a long, and it's getting cooler now. The ball's not going to fly as much.
He's got 3-mile-an-hour wind to his back. Come on, give him a chance. Ilanimi from 51.
Boy, did he have the leg.
You betcha.
Man.
Ilanimi's the man.
Ilanimi knocked it like, wow.
He is a walk-on transfer from Oregon who has now made 9 of his 11 field goals this year.
He crushed it, and you see where the snap came back on the ground.
61.
It was a little lawn bowling. So the ball came back on the ground. Toby, the punter, and also the holder did a great job of handling the low snap and getting it down. And Ilanimi just kept his timing, Steve, and stayed right down on the ball. Nice job.
Fantasy football players, listen up now. There's a show just for you with 30 minutes of who to start, who to sit, and who's the player you need to pick up. Our experts do the work to help you look like a genius. The ultimate fantasy football show tonight after college football, and tomorrow morning only on Fox Sports Net. Check your local listings for the start times in your area. 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 West Coast. Well, I think Mike Riley and Oregon State has to be feeling like, you know what? We're getting outplayed in this game by Washington State, particularly against Washington State's defense, yet we're only down by 4 points with 5 minutes to go in the first half.
Nissan scoring drive for Oregon State, 3 plays, 4 yards. Of course, set up by the fumble recovery. And Ilanimi, Steve, we saw the graphic just a moment ago, 4 of 4 on 50-yard plus. He could have made that one from 61.
Washington State will have the football at their own 20-yard line. Our AT&T wireless trivia question that we asked Tom Ramsey about former Washington State quarterback Mark Rippon, one of 4 former Pac-10 quarterbacks to start for the Super Bowl winner. Who are the other 3? You knew about Elway, I'm sure.
I know the Stanford guys. I got the
Jim
Stanford
Plunkett.
guys. Yep.
What about Troy Aikman?
What about Troy Aikman?
He was there.
I knew that.
2 world championships.
Just a couple. Good Fox cohort, Aikman.
and a former Bruin.
You know, I'll never forget Elway. I was coming back from on the flight from San Diego when he won his first Super Bowl, and he said, I got the 800-pound gorilla off my back. And I said, oh, man, come on, man. You never had a gorilla on your back. He goes, yeah, I did. From those Super Bowl losses. And, you don't realize it, but the pressure that quarterbacks and head coaches play under, an enormous amount of pressure. But you come to that big game, and when you go home the loser, Steve, it's no fun. It's just no fun. Even though all these other teams go home as losers, there's only one group that gets champions on the ring.
And he got 2 rings.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Chris Bruin came in the game and gained 4 yards. Second down, 6 yards to go. 5 minutes left in the first half. 1.5 now. Kegel on play action, looking downfield. Is it intercepted? Wow, it was almost intercepted by Mitch Musin, who already has 2 picks in the game.
Mitch Musin going for the hat trick. Boy, he's been a ball hawk all day. I didn't see where the ball ended up either, Steve. I think Musin might have tipped it out of bounds. The ball is not coming out. Yeah, Musin makes a nice play on it. The fans, of course, yelling. They thought it was interference. But Musin has been a ball hawk today. Real experienced player back there. 117 tackles in his career, 13 interceptions. That's just being around the football. I remember when he broke into the lineup a couple years ago.
As
young
a
guy.
Freshman.
Yeah. Big body guy, 215-pounder. Not quick, super quick feet, but he's always there around the ball.
Timeout on the field. Washington State came into this game 6th in the nation, and they may have been one of only 4 unbeaten teams had they been able to knock off Tyrone Willingham at Notre Dame with a 19-point lead. They went up big on plays like that by Sammy Moore. Got great defense from Will Dirting, and Isaac Brown would run it back.
Oh, we saw that play earlier today, the Dirting-Brown play.
Julius Jones.
And then Notre Dame came roaring back, didn't they?
And they won it in overtime. The only loss of the season for Washington State, 29-26. They blew a 19-point lead in the second half. And the rest of the way, the win the next week at Colorado was sensational because it got them off. It got the negativity of the Notre Dame loss.
Yeah.
I thought Oregon was amazing. They forced 9 turnovers against the Ducks in Eugene.
9 turnovers, which is, of course, thought to be a record. I think they had to do a lot of digging for that one. There's the architect of the team right now, Bill Doba, at the controls. And what a nice guy he is. He is really has kept his sense of humor. Really has.
I asked him if he ever thought he would get the job as a head coach, and he said, you know what? I gave up trying about 15 years ago. I've really enjoyed my life here. And then when you got it, you go, hey, this is kind of fun. Now I want to keep it. But he got his first head coaching job in college football at the age of 63. Joe Paterno has, 382 wins?
338.
338.
On the offense, 5-yard penalty, still third down.
This hurts Washington State. Procedure penalty, Steve, just on the shifting and the motion across the formation by the tight end. They take another 5 yards. So they'll have a 3rd and close to 12, 3rd and 11. Didn't appear to change the play call, though.
Kegel with pressure. Is the catch made? Yes, it is by Sammy Moore. It'll be short of a first down. Now they say it is incomplete, that he trapped the football. There is a flag down, though.
Steve, they're just getting, at that time Oregon State brought a ton of pressure. Kegel hung tough in the pocket. Holding call on Washington State as well. So if you're Oregon State, you elect to decline it here. You'll take the ball.
On the offense, penalties declined, down before.
See if we can see it here. Up top, is it Billy Knotts? Billy Knotts with the takedown. Sure looked that way. Yeah, out comes the flag. Okay.
Kyle Bosler will now punt it. Oregon State has a chance for another situation where they'll have great field position. They've got a chance to go into the locker room with the lead.
Now, Bosler, remember, he's a great weapon, Steve. Number 2 in the conference. He boomed a 52-yarder earlier.
He hits this one into the wind, and Clark Clayson makes the fair catch at the 43-yard line. So again, strong field position, but Oregon State has not been able to move on any drive. The defense has ruled today, and coming up at the half, the Nissan halftime report. Mike Kellen and Billy Ray will be taking us around college football for all the scores and highlights and a Pac-10 hookup.
What's the Pac-10 hookup all about?
It's got to be quarterbacks to wide receivers with all the good QBs and wideouts in this conference. Cody Pickett to Reggie Williams and Charles Frederick, and Matt Leinart to Mike Williams and Kerry Colbert. 43 points today by USC against Washington. Now Anderson back to the air and back deep. Mike Haas makes the catch. 32-yard line. First down, OSU.
I like the route. Again, good protection that time by Oregon State in their line. Steve, watch the nice little play action to Steven Jackson. So Steven Jackson's starting to pay off for him now. Okay, they've run the ball enough where play action is working. Anderson really plants that back foot. Line drives it right into Haas. Nice catch that time by Haas.
They've doubled up Newsom on the left side. They'll run Jackson up the middle, and Steven gets one, and that's all. Again, it's Genatone who slams him down.
Steven Jackson's going to get my Tough Man Award for this year. I mean, you can just keep giving him the ball, and the guy's fearless, number 1. Number 2, he's just tough as nails. I mean, you're running against a defensive line, an experienced defensive line, good line, great linebackers. They're tagging him.
2nd and 8. Quick toss. Ewis with a nice catch, and Tim Ewis pulls his way forward. The mark will be important for the first down. They needed to get to the 22-yard line.
Anderson got crushed that time, Steve. Dirting, Achelanu again. Jackson, look at Will Dirting once again. Achelanu, Jackson. You know, you keep getting those hits on the quarterback every time he goes to throw. You're going to wake up with a headache.
Dirting is just a wild man all over the field.
Dirting right there.
It's a first down. They have Jackson offset right side. Play action. Anderson, end zone. Incomplete. It was intended for Kenny Farley.
This is where you'd like to get the ball down to James Newsom, Steve. Bring him on a cross route. Bring him on a crossing route. If they play man, you got a man beater. Zone, he'll sit it down. He needs to, but get the ball. This is where you got to get the ball to your playmakers. Okay, and James Newsom is a guy, 18 TD catches in his career. 1 away from the career mark at Oregon State.
This is already the Beavers' best offensive drive of the afternoon. 3 wide receivers offset left side. They go right to Newsom. He's there, and he drops the football.
Well, they had the right idea. That was a heck of a throw, too. Heck of a throw. Derek Anderson, Steve, they run this little slanting up, okay? Little pump fake. They got the bite. They were looking for Jason David. Ball just goes right through his arms. Right through his arms. Watch it come out. Boom. There it goes. Hits the ground. I'll tell you, the pump fake, Steve, that Anderson had on Jason David. Jason David was looking in, and he bit.
Anderson with a blitz on. They throw it over the middle to Ewis, and Ewis gets about 4 or 5 yards. So they're in good field position for a field goal to try and pull themselves within 1 point of Washington State.
Yeah, they're playing smart football right now, Steve. And Mike Riley always comes prepared, and he's always ready to play 60 minutes of football. Right there, Riley talking to Derek Anderson. You know, you can't throw it any better. I'm sure Riley said, hey, you couldn't throw that any better. Great job. Keep your head up. We'll get him next time.
His team, his quarterback, has had 2 wide receivers drop touchdowns in the end zone. Here's Ilanimi. He puts it up. He puts it through. It's a one-point ball game. Washington State 14, Oregon State 13. Ilanimi now 10 for 12 this season with field goals, including 2 for 51, 1 this afternoon. He's only missed 4 field goals in his career. Well, our Kyocera Heisman watch today. Mike Riley remembers watching this guy, Terry Baker, the 1962 winner for Oregon State, the first Heisman Trophy winner from the West Coast. He was a left-handed quarterback who could not only throw, but Terry Baker could run. And then he was drafted in the first round by the Los Angeles Rams.
Yes, he could run. He could bring it. Right now, Oregon State bringing it on a beautiful day in the Palouse, Steve, and to have it be 14-13 Cougars, we haven't heard much from the Cougars from the opening quarter.
Keagles had 3 interceptions.
Yep.
You know, the game surrounds mistakes, turnovers. They came in Bill Doba's team plus 14 in turnovers, and they are down 2 in this contest because of 3 interceptions by Matt Keagle, a guy who came in with only 4 picks in his first 8 games this year. 3 in about a 15-minute stretch.
That's 4 touchdowns and 1 interception, so he really had done a great job of keeping it away from defenders. You got to come out now.
Smith wasn't sure what to do. He shouldn't have done this. He's down at the 4-yard line.
Boy, oh boy. Costly decision there, Steve, coming out. Jonathan Smith, once you come out, make up your mind. Nice play that time. Number 22. Keller Christensen,
Rams,
reserve
how do you
linebacker.
handle the clock now if you're Mike Riley? I mean, you've got a great chance to back up Washington State.
If I stop them here on first down, you hope they throw the ball and it goes incomplete. Chances are they'll probably run Jonathan Smith. If you stuff him for no gain, I'd call timeout. Oregon State with 2.
They'll run Jonathan Smith. He's stuffed at the 5-yard line.
I'd call time. There you go. Now they're going to call time.
And it comes with 1 minute and 49 seconds left in the clock. I mean, if you can stop them on 3 plays and then get the punt, you have a chance to have the ball at midfield, get another field goal. You're going in up 2 instead of down 1 when you are completely outplayed by Washington State's defense.
Momentum shifts, right? You said a lot of mistakes happen during the course of a game. Good and bad things happen, but you got to stay after it for 60. But if you can go in, little lift before halftime, you give yourself such a boost, especially, sold out Martin Stadium. They don't get a lot of sellouts up here, but today's a big one.
The improvement by Oregon State really started with Mike Riley. When you go back and take a look at the 70s, only 27 wins. In the 80s, they had 22, 29 in the decade of the 1990s. But Mike Riley got them their first 5-win season in like 30 years. And they've won 29 games in the new millennium.
80 loss decades. That's what jumps out at me. 83, 85, 81.
They're 15 over 500 in the 2000s.
I read something today in the local paper. Bill Doba said, this game used to be we used to feel sorry for each other, It's like, hey, how you doing there, Lou? Oh, not bad, Bill. It was the Oregon State, Washington State doormats. Not the case.
Well, you remember the 11-1 season that Oregon State had?
Yeah.
17
beat Notre Dame.
of the 24 players that Dennis Erickson took down to the Fiesta Bowl and beat Notre Dame. 17 of the 24 starters in that game were recruited by Mike Riley.
Yep.
And that's why they were so eager to get him back when Dennis left for the NFL and the San Francisco 49ers. It is second down, Keagle to the air. He throws it out of bounds, so now you don't have to use your timeout. And it is third down and 8 yards to go.
If you're Oregon State, you really like that play. You said it, though, Steve. Before Dennis Erickson took over, the cupboard was full. But you know what? That's just good coaching. Riley really did kind of build that. He built the foundation. Dennis was able to come in and really maximize that foundation and build a championship team with a lot of great players, and I just think Dennis Erickson's one of the best coaches around. He really does a great job, and Oregon State's awfully lucky to have Mike Riley come back in the fold.
They have 5 wins, 2 losses this year. Keagle again back to throw. Keagle in trouble. He's sacked. Drops the football. It's 2 points for Oregon State.
And they're lucky. Washington State is lucky, Steve, that Oregon State didn't convert that fumble into a touchdown just then. We talked to Mike Riley, and we said, Mike, you got to just love the fact this is a great opportunity. You're going to play the number 6 team in the country. You got to be fired up. He said, Tom, we're completely excited. Watch the pressure again. Oh, Dewan Edwards, Steve, number 98. We spoke at him earlier. His explosiveness. Watch him come around and just crush Keagle. Ball comes out. Ball scoots out of the end zone. Jay Strikert there to make the call. Safety.
Oregon State has come back from a 14-0 deficit to take the lead 15-14. And you know what I think Mike Riley's most proud of? This team is playing through adversity. They did not play well in the first quarter at all, particularly offensively, and they did not quit. They weren't converting turnovers. They were
and you know what?
Committing some penalties.
You know, Oregon State's defense has really stepped it up. And you know, you read so much about Washington State's defense. I'm sure it was a challenge to Oregon State's defense to say, hey, you know, we're pretty good too. And they've showed it. They've showed it this afternoon.
And now they ran the clock very well, calling the 1 timeout. They still have 1 remaining. And here comes the return. Clayson. Cole Clayson, there's a flag that goes down as Clayson gets it to the 42-yard line, but there's a minute and a half remaining in the first half, and Oregon State can do a little more damage than Washington State. They have a great kicker in Kirk Ilanimi. We've already seen belt one from 51 yards out. Bill Doba with a real test after his Cougars beat Stanford last week by 10 and ripped Arizona by 23 the week prior.
Well, Oregon State, Steve, they're going to be flagged with a hold. They have really taken the air out of the crowd. We talked about scoring right before the half.
Return, holding on the receiving team. 10-yard penalty from the end of the return, first down.
So 10-yard flag there. Take a look again to safety. Watch, see Dewan Edwards come around, little tackle end stunt. Boy, he body slams Keagle. I think Keagle hurt his shoulder against Steve on the play.
And I was looking to see if Josh Schwager was starting to warm up, but I don't see any movement from Josh Schwager, number 9. Anderson, the quarterback for Oregon State. He'll give the football to Steven Jackson. Not much there. Boy, they have totally eclipsed Steven Jackson in this game. Jackson with 22 yards on 13 carries today.
They have really, really stacked the deck against him on first down, especially, Steve. They got 9 guys in the box. I mean, you don't stand a chance getting those guys blocked.
1.7 per carry. He's been averaging 4 to 5 yards per carry. Yet they're winning because of great defensive play. An interception that was returned for a touchdown by Mitch Musin. 2 field goals by Kirk Ilanimi and a safety. Anderson wants to go deep. Has Mike Haas out there. And Haas holds on! And he'll score the touchdown!
Derek Anderson again, Steve, the pump fake, holds the corner for a moment. They found something against this Washington State secondary they like to use. Watch the pump fake, and then he gets the ball out. But more importantly, watch Haas's concentration, Steve. His eyes stay on the ball. What a great catch. And he prances into the end zone. And again, now see, he's pointing at his fans over there. Look at his eyes, just stay with the ball. And then he's strong enough to hold the ball with a defender flying right over his side. Boy, that's impressive.
Well, is this a turn of events?
That penalty will be enforced 15 yards.
Okay, so more excessive celebration. by Oregon State. And you know how I like that penalty, Steve.
Neither one of us like it. I still believe that Oregon State's been hit by too many penalties this year, and Mike Riley preached all week long. Play through adversity. Don't make any silly penalties, and they know excessive celebration is one of them. You have to control yourself. Haas with a remarkable catch. This young man was the greatest receiver in the history of Portland Jesuit High School. I mean, 79 catches for over 1,700 yards and 21 touchdowns as a senior. And the extra point is barely good as it is tipped and goes through, and Washington State has seen a blitzkrieg by Oregon State. They have scored 22 unanswered points that have been capped by this remarkable concentration catch by Mike Haas from Portland Jesuit High School.
Watch pump fake there, holds. Pema over the top of Pema, but boy, Haas just does a great job staying with it. There was a walk-on, came into the program, earned his scholarship, Steve, and so this is really excessive celebration here? He's just, okay. That's a flag? That's not.
No, I agree with you there. That was not excessive celebration. And we see Mike Williams of USC do that on every single touchdown.
I don't know. If you watch Miami,
yep.
I mean, you could say they have excessive celebration on every play. Look at Mike Haas. Numbers on him: 3 catches, 106 yards. Not a bad day. That's only the first half.
So Washington State has 35 seconds to work with because they're going to get good field position because Oregon State must kick off from their own 20-yard line. Does Bill Doba say, you know what, fellas, let's go into the locker room and talk about this, or attack? He helps out Isaac Brown as defensive end.
I think Bill Doba right now, Steve, would prefer to get to the locker room and to get with his coaching staff and say, hey guys, we gotta lock up a few things here.
The kick is taken by Jonathan Smith at the 10. A heck of a kick. Smith is to the 30. And I was thinking if they got it back to midfield, well, they might take a strike. Now at the 30-yard line with 32 seconds left. Let's see if they go to one knee. Oregon State has only one timeout remaining.
I still think Kegel, I still think he got pretty beat up, Steve, on that last safety. He took a shot. DeJuan Edwards nailed him. Ball came out. They were lucky that they just had the safety. And Oregon State didn't fall on it for a score.
He is playing with 2 injured shoulders. The left one was dislocated last week against Stanford. The right one has subluxation injury. Said he can play through that, but there is pain. And he throws to Sammy Moore, and Sammy Moore won't get much, and then fumbles, and Oregon State has it at the 29. The 5th turnover by Washington State. Sammy Moore is hurt.
Sammy Moore got nailed. Boy, what did I tell you, Steve? When you're playing a bad half of football, you just want it to end sometimes, and it's not over yet for the Cougars.
You said at the 30-yard line, run the clock out.
Well, Sammy Moore, you love a player who is trying to make a play, but he gets crushed. Brandon Browner, 39 in the corner, comes up, puts his helmet right on the ball, Steve, and that was a big hit. He made 2 great moves, shedding defenders. But here, you almost have 3. I don't want to say you have 3 locked up with Ilanimi, as good a kicker as he is, but you can take a shot or 2 at the end zone.
And Anderson will. Downfield he goes. James Newsom. He's out of the end zone.
Oh, I thought he was in.
I don't know, Rams.
It
looked like he got, when he caught the football, that his foot was on the line.
Our ace replay producer, Kyle Reisman, I know is going to bring us a shot here, Steve. Oh, he was in. You know what? Derek's got to get it up right now. Get the ball up now. Here it is. Oh,
ooh,
that's a touchdown.
You're right.
That's one in. That's one in.
I thought that left foot was on the white.
I don't know if he had total control of the football, though, Steve. Why? This is going to be a great angle. Okay, this will give us the...
He had control of it.
Oh, my. Oh, we don't... Boy, the official's right there. Didn't see his foot on that replay, so on to the next one.
Blitz on. And the play will be killed by the officials. Now this could hurt because they'll go back 5 yards if it's against Oregon State.
Boy, they had James Newsom. He freed up, but the ball's got to come out sooner.
I thought that was your key. You said Anderson's got to throw sooner.
Oh, the ball's got to come out sooner. You know, you just flirting with disaster.
Don't let the official make the play.
Yeah.
Prior
Newsom
to the
had
snap,
him beat early.
Offside on the defense. Defender entered the zone, causing the offensive player to false start. 5-yard penalty, still second down. Timer, reset the clock.
So the 5-yard penalty, Steve, is actually going to go against Washington State.
You know what is happening here? Let's say they even score just 3 points and it's 25-14.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, even though Steven Jackson has only run for 23 yards and 13 carries, he's the best running back in the conference.
Yep.
You can control the clock in the second half with a player like Steven Jackson. First things first. Anderson in trouble, throws left side, incomplete. It is third down and 5 yards to go. And with 6 seconds left, they may go for the field goal right now.
Yep, Yelenimi come in. Well, you know, Yelenimi 2 for 2 so far today, 10 of 12 on the season, long of 51. He nailed a 51-yarder earlier.
This one will be from 41 yards out. Last year he missed his first try and then hit his next 15. This will be a 41-yard field goal attempt to end the half. An unbelievable comeback by Oregon State. Yelenimi has it up. And it is good. And Oregon State has scored 25 unanswered points after the number 6 team in the nation, Washington State, took a 14-0 lead. There still is 1 second left. And Mike Riley, his team has played through adversity. I mean, their total offense has been eclipsed by Washington State, and yet they have an 11-point lead now in the first half.
Well, Mike Riley's got to be real proud of his team, Steve, for coming back. But now it's how you play that second half. It's what you do at halftime. It's what you draw up on the board. If there's any changes or little things you can tweak, you'd like to take care of that. But you know Washington State's going to come out on fire in the second half. They're going to be upset because this is their home turf, Steve. Number 6 team in the country, you know, 26-6 the last 3 years. They're not going to roll over, I'll tell you that. Bill Dobe was going to set them straight at halftime.
5 turnovers killed Washington State in the first half. Oregon State only had 6 first downs offensively, and yet they scored 25 points. A squib kick. Somebody better cover it. Oregon State's going to cover it, but that is the final play of the first half. A terrible final 15 minutes by Washington State. And Mike Riley's Beavers run to the locker room with a 25-14 lead.
That's as vulnerable as Washington State's defense has looked since their loss in South Bend, the 19-point comeback by the Fighting Irish. Hi again, everybody. Welcome to the Nissan Halftime Report alongside our Hall of Famers, Kellen Winslow and Billy Ray Smith. Let's go right around the Pac-10. We'll start out at Husky Stadium, number 5 USC. At Washington, sophomore Matt Leinart throws it to Reggie Bush.
Coming out of the backfield, it's difficult to cover a back like Reggie Bush. As you can see, with all that speed, just split the safeties for the touchdown untouched.
Leinart, the sophomore, would outduel the senior Cody Pickett.
Great setup here. Matt never looks any place else except for the outside to Reggie Bush. Again, a linebacker trying to cover a running back. It's not fair.
351 yards, 4 touchdowns is USC. Number 5 in the nation goes to 7-1 on the season. The Ducks shut out the Stanford Cardinal. Oregon's last 2 Pac-10 home wins have come against Stanford. Stanford suffers its 4th straight loss. And how about the Cal Bears? Cal's 327 rushing yards, the most since 1992. Echamandu had a career high.
281 yards on the ground, 3 touchdowns.
A great day for Echamandu rushing the football. Tied for supremacy with Joe Pa as our day began. Florida State's Bobby Bowden looking to seize the top spot for coaching supremacy. And another one bites the dust as the Nissan Halftime Report rolls on. Welcome back to the Nissan Halftime Report. Number 6, Washington State's 5 5 turnovers in the first half are the most this season. There is concern in Pullman, Washington. Joe Pa and Bobby B open the day tied number 1 with 338 wins apiece. Wake Forest at number 6, Florida State. Leon Washington, he's going all the way.
Wake Forest's punter outkicks his coverage, gives Leon Washington a free run straight up the field for the touchdown.
That is number 339 for Bobby Bowden. He is the king of the hill as far as the all-time coaches are concerned. Seminoles clinch at least a share of the ACC conference title. And for now, with Penn State and Joe Pa losing their 4th straight game, Bobby Bowden is at the top.
Outstanding list. You take a look here. Joe Pa, Bobby Bowden, some great names in college football. Paul Bear Bryant, and of course, Amos Alonzo Stagg, my favorite.
He's your favorite.
He's my favorite.
Why would that be?
The Stagg part.
I got to go with the Bear. I got to go with the Bear.
All right, we got a Bear, we got a Stagg. I'm a big fan of Bobby Bowden, the job he's done at Florida State. Number 1, Oklahoma. Senior Heisman hopeful Jason White throws deep down the middle to Brandon Jones.
Everybody throws deep down the middle against Colorado, and Brandon Jones comes up with a 53-yard touchdown.
This is a rematch of last season's Big 12 title game, which Oklahoma won. Joel Klatt trying to keep the Buffaloes in the game, doing a nice job. At the half, Oklahoma struggling a bit, we'll talk in a moment, to Colorado. 17-7, Joel Klatt trying to stay healthy, trying to get his football team something accomplished. Undefeated number 15 TCU at Houston. Brandon Hassel in for Ty Gunn. He'll find the freshman Corey Rogers.
I tell you, this screen works great.
Oh, wow.
When you get the flow of action going away, then come back. Quarterback did a great job of selling it. Poof, just breaks up field.
TCU's done it with 2 quarterbacks all season long. Hassel and Gunn is out today. Last time the Horned Frogs opened 8-0, they went on to win the 1938 National Championship, the MAC Championship. At Bowling Green, Ohio, undefeated number 12 Northern Illinois, number 23 Bowling Green. This was all Josh Harris for the Fighting Falcons.
Josh Harris to Charles Sharon for the 55-yard touchdown. He has 435 yards throwing the football.
Second time in MAC history that 2 teams were ranked in the top 25. Bowling Green reigns supreme, so Northern Illinois is cut off the list of unbeatens. I mentioned a second ago, Billy Ray, Oklahoma appears to be struggling a bit in Boulder, Colorado. Are they perhaps looking ahead to next week's showdown against Oklahoma State, a team that's beaten them 2 years in a row?
Consider this, though. The Oklahoma Sooners have beaten Texas and Missouri in consecutive weeks, and I think it's probably just an after effect, more of a hangover than anything else, because they realize how hard it is to play in Boulder. They haven't won there since 1988.
It is a difficult thing to do, but you take a look at Jason White and the way he's been playing all year. Fabulous football, making great decisions, getting plenty of time to throw the football. But each and every year, whether you're a Heisman Trophy candidate or not, a quarterback will have a bad game, an off game, call it whatever you want to. This might be his. The key is going to be for Oklahoma to fight through whatever troubles they're having, especially at the quarterback position, and still win this ball game.
So we could have Oklahoma State, a big game next week. We will have it, obviously, but it could be a big game. Virginia Tech and Miami. Let's see if Washington State can come back. USC has already won today. Washington State's Jonathan Smith with the early touchdown, but later it was all Oregon State. They lead 25-14 at the half. This is the Nissan Halftime Report. Welcome back to the Nissan Halftime Report. Steven Jackson being held to 22 yards rushing in the first half. Had a season-low 49 rushing yards last week, but doesn't seem to matter. Oregon State has the lead, 25-14 over number 6, Washington State. Top 25 matchups. Number 10, Purdue. At number 13, Michigan, the senior John Navarre to Braylon Edwards.
Smart thing for the quarterback to do. Get the ball out to your big play guy. Give him a chance to make a play for you.
This one was never close as Purdue loses in Ann Arbor for the 16th straight time. Their second loss, or their first loss, in Big Ten Conference play. LSU off to a great start at home against the Auburn Tigers.
I'm telling you, Matt Malk, the quarterback for the LSU Tigers, is going to be the big difference in this game.
Where's that Cadillac? It's getting washed and waxed right now. Need to get it on the road.
Yep.
Little overtime here. In fact, not 1, 2, 3, 4, but 5 of them. Number 22, Tennessee at Alabama. Casey Clausen, James Banks, 2-point conversion. Tennessee has the lead. Bama's turn.
Throw up the alley-oop and let him catch the football.
Great play by Tennessee. This is Allen out on the corner. He timed it perfectly to knock the ball away.
Tennessee avoids its first 3-game losing streak since 1992. In 5 overtimes, they win 51-43. What an outstanding football game there.
by any of our 17 locations today.
You're watching Fox Sports Net.
Welcome back to the Nissan Halftime Report. Number 6 Washington State had allowed a total of 31 first-half points this season. Prior to tonight, they trailed 25-14. Can the Florida Marlins win their second World Series? Their last one, 1997. They have moved now to the top of the 4th inning, scoreless. Florida Marlins with a win, defeat the New York Yankees, and win the World Series. All right, let's talk about our game second half. Washington State, Kellen, you got your hands crossed. You got a smile on your face. I think you think they need to do something a bit different.
I'm overdoing my deep breathing exercise. I'll tell you right now. Hopefully, Washington State did some soul-searching at halftime. Now, all you Washington State fans out there, do not blame the quarterback, Kegel, for what happened there at the very end. That was terrible play calling. Put the kid in a bad situation. That's on the offensive coordinators, on the play calling coaches. That was just terrible. You don't do that to a young man because it breaks his confidence and it destroys the rhythm of a team. So fans, not the player, that's the coaches.
Kellen, how many times have you seen a team go out there and start to make mistake after being invincible the previous 2 or 3 weeks in a row? Washington State now, for the last 15 minutes, have played about as poorly as you can play being a college football team, and they need to come out on the field, do something early, a big play, maybe a huge hit from Isaac Brown on the defensive side of the football, make a statement that they're back in and they're focused again.
And Steve and Tom talked about it with about 30 seconds left. Just get into the locker room. It almost cost them dearly. It almost cost them another 7 points.
Well, even when they have to fumble just before the halftime, throw the ball down the field. Right. Don't throw a little underneath stuff. That's terrible.
All right, well, let's see if they make that adjustment, the coaching staff for number 6 Washington State, and they can come back and win this game in the second half. You've been watching the Nissan Halftime Report. Back out to Steve Fiziak, Tom Ramsey, and Pullman, Washington for the second half of our game. All Oregon State in the second quarter. They lead at the break.
Presented by Kyocera. Oregon State stunning the number 6 team in the nation, 25-14. And that is despite Oregon State's quarterback, Derek Anderson, completing only 33% of his passes, and running back Steven Jackson averaging 1.7 yards per carry. And Tom Ramsey, they have an 11-point lead. How does that happen?
Well, we've talked a lot about defense, and both defenses, Steve, really stepped up and played great, especially on third down. Both teams struggling on third down. We'll take a look at the Lincoln halftime stats, and right there you see the turnovers. Number 1, Washington State, 5 turnovers. The points off turnovers for OSU, 20. Total yards, pretty much even. Think about this, though. Washington State had 14 possessions in the first half. That's remarkable, that in and of itself.
So Washington State will kick off in the second half, and they have an uphill battle. Down 11, not playing well at all, turning the ball over 5 times in the first half, and the result was 20 points off turnovers. Look at the last 4 possessions for Oregon State. 2 field goals, a long field goal by Kirk Ilanimi of 51 yards. They had a touchdown and a field goal. It was the Mike Haas incredible catch that was the touchdown.
Yeah, only 2 plays on that drive, Steve. And more importantly, you know, both teams, I just said it a moment ago, Oregon State 2 of 11 on third down conversions in the first half. Derek Anderson only 9 of 27, 1 TD, no interceptions, but he did have 1 costly fumble early in the game.
And we expect to see Steven Jackson get the football.
Wear down that quick and fast Washington State defense. That's going to be hard to do, though. Got to put some hats on people.
2nd and 9. They get it to Tim Ewis. Ewis up close to a first down. They mark him out about a foot shy. So this likely will be Steven Jackson time to give him the football and let him get the first down.
I thought they were lucky to score 25, but they really played opportunistic football as well.
This is one of the rare times they've gone with that I formation with the fullback lead, and Jackson doesn't look like he gets the first down.
Steve
Achilano on the tackle.
Yeah, neither offensive line in the first half really doing the job I think the coaches would like them to do. And you see there's no push right there at the point of attack, and you see red jerseys everywhere. I bet you 51's at the bottom of that pile. Will Durding had a spectacular first half. He's played every game really well he's played in, and they put the halt on Steven Jackson again.
And a flag will go down against Oregon State and back them up another 5 yards. Sammy Moore, a dangerous return artist, stands near the 40-yard line for Washington State, and Mike Riley knows he still has 30 minutes to go. They scored 25 unanswered points in the first half after going down 14-0 to Washington State on a Jonathan Smith 2-yard run and a DeVar Darland 15-yard touchdown catch from Matt Keegan. Toby hit one 59 yards in the first half. A high snap into the end zone. It's 2 points for the Cougars.
Costly mistake, Steve. Just doesn't take much. High snap. Toby unable to go high. Actually went high. It was just higher than high. Washington State pursuing after the ball, but Jay Strikert right there to make the correct call. Boy, that ball scooted, didn't it? They were fortunate to just get a safety there. Oregon State, boy, if that ball dies on that field turf, and Washington State, look at them go after it. Man.
Derek Brown is the snapper, number 54, and he just had that ball go way over the head of Carl Toby. Now Toby has to punt the football to Washington State, and again it will be to Sammy Moore. So Washington State has an opportunity to get right back in it. They are now down 9. They haven't even touched the football yet. A minute and a half is off the clock, and the Cougars have scored 2 points. Mike Riley cannot afford mistakes in the second half. His team came in at 5-2. Oregon State was hoping today would be a battle for the top spot in the conference. But the Beavers lost last Saturday to Washington 38-17. So instead of 3-0 meeting 3-0, it was 3-0 meeting 2-1.
They had 14, mind you, in the first half, Steve. Interception, punt, fumble, punt, safety, fumble. Ineptitude.
As you said, 14 possessions, and that is an unusually high amount for a half. 7 punts, 5 turnovers, and 2 touchdowns. And here's Keegle, who's completed 50% of his passes, but 3 of his 7 interceptions this year have come in 30 minutes. Keegle goes to the air, throwing off his back foot again. He completes the pass to Cody Boyd. And Boyd goes out of bounds.
Oregon State's playing pretty darn tough defense, Steve. They have stepped up. They have stepped up how they're covering this high-powered Washington State offense. And Washington State's offense came in scoring 33 a game. Oregon State comes in, their pass defense leads the nation. Last year they led the Pac-10. I mean, they have been all over making plays. But I tell you what, you know why they're so good in pass defense? Because they got a great 4-man rush. And of course, Dewan Edwards really leading the way, number 98, playing a great first half there to make another tackle.
Look at Oregon State's defense. I mean, they had the screen set up, and then all of a sudden, white jerseys shot to the play.
Yeah, Swan cut there to finally bring the ball carrier down, but between Swancut, Edwards, Steve, these guys are really getting after it. Swancut's right there. He ends up getting up and making the tackle.
Third down, 12 yards to go. Swancut, another tackle for a loss. He has 2 in the game, now 9.5 on the season. One lone setback in Jonathan Smith. 4-man rush by Oregon State. And a quick toss by Keegle, even though he didn't get much pressure.
Now, he didn't get a lot of pressure. It looks like he wanted to get it out quick on a little timing route, Steve, and I don't think the receiver was expecting the football.
The way things have been going lately for Keegle and the offense, they may have to hope for Washington State to do what they do best, which is force turnovers and turn them into points.
This has been a good weapon for Washington State all day. Kyle Bosler really has been drilling the ball.
And again, he hits one well high in the air, placing to let it go. It bounces at the 23, goes inside the 20 to the 17-yard line. Time out of the field, 12-17 to play, third quarter. Will we see more of Steven Jackson in the second half? We'll find out when we come back. College Football Saturday on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by Kyocera, the new value frontier. By Acura, experience the performance today at your local Acura dealer. And by Wrangler, real comfortable jeans. Here at Martin Stadium, Washington State and Oregon State, and Washington State had an illegal procedure, so they had to move back, and they got some fortune as Kyle Bosler hit his best punt of the season, 65 yards. It was down inside the 5-yard line to the 4-yard line, and that's where Oregon State will start their offense. College football presented by Kyocera returns to Fox Sports Net next week with a doubleheader. First, UCLA looks to keep pace in the Pac-10 when they take on Stanford. Then the Colorado Buffaloes battle the Texas Tech team in a Big 12 showdown. College football continues next week, beginning with a kickoff show at 3 o'clock Eastern, noon Pacific, right here on Fox Sports Net.
We talked about it a moment ago, Steve. Bosler with the re-kick on that 4th down. He just drills it. It ends up inside the 5. So now Oregon State is pinned back in their end, and now the crowd starts to get back into it.
A sold-out crowd here at Martin Stadium. Anderson from his 4-yard line. He wants Steven Jackson to get him out of this mess, and Jackson breaks free to the 10-yard line and out near a first down at the 15. That was Jackson's longest run of the evening.
Well, remember now, you still got to bring the big man down. They finally get a block or two up front. Will Durding chooses the inside route. Jackson goes outside, and then Jackson knifing ahead for an extra yard, knocking Eric Coleman down as Coleman attempts to bring him down. But now you got a second and short. Nice time to take a shot deep if you can here, Steve.
I'm handing it off to Jackson. 33 yards now. Get him going. And Jackson will get the first down, and he gets more all the way out to the 20-yard line, a gain of 6. Our Bank of America higher standards. This is why they keep giving it to Jackson. 1,690 yards rushing last year. Only 4 Pac-10 players ever had more. And we're talking Marcus Allen, Ricky Bell, Charles White, O.J. Simpson of USC. But Steven Jackson, he started the game 74 yards shy of 1,000 yards rushing.
Yep.
He was closing in on 40 for the game because of the wonderful job that Villanovan's defense has done. Jackson cuts back in, gains about 5 yards, and now Steven is over 40 yards rushing. Al Genatone on the tackle.
Steve, watch one guy making plays in the first half, Will Durding, but watch what he ends up doing. He ends up washing down inside here, and then Jackson kicks it outside. Durding, and what's amazing, Durding's still able to come back and make the play. Watch him. Oh, no, he didn't make the play. He got crushed. I thought I saw his number pop back up. He's all over the place.
Back to Jackson. This time he only gains about 3. He needs to get to the 30 for a first down. But remember, only 23 yards rushing in the first half. And on this possession, he's gained 9. He has 8, another carry for 6, and now a carry for 3.
One guy that's going to be sore today, Eric Coleman, Steve, because he keeps coming up, tackling Steven Jackson. I got to tell you, after a few times you tackle the 233-pounder, you're feeling it.
3rd and a short 3. Will they stay with number 34? No. Anderson to throw. Downfield it goes, but over the head of Joe Newton. He was looking for Newton as 6'7" tight end. And when you overthrow 6'7", it's a little bit too tall.
A lot of pressure that time. Isaac Brown on top of Derek Anderson again, bringing the heat off the edge. Carl Tobey coming out to punt once again.
His 8th punt of the game, as long as a 59. That was one that was down near the 1-yard line. This one is a short punt. And it will take a nice roll for Oregon State, but go towards the sideline and go out of bounds near the 33-yard line. So Washington State will have the football, down 9 points with 9:57 to play in the third quarter. The Cougars believe. Oregon State's offense has been very quiet. As a team, they've only rushed for 10 yards in this game on 23 carries, yet they have a 9-point lead on the number 6 team in the nation. Mike Haas, number 28, made a remarkable catch in the first half to help them to a victory, to a lead at the half. Now Matt Kegel will try and get Washington State's offense going, and they will give the football to Chris Brune. Matt Kegel, well, he has suffered one of his roughest nights of the year.
And Kegel came in really effective, Steve, as we talked about up top of the show. That was the first play of the game. It was a pick. There's another throw, soft throw down the middle. Big hit on a sack. Another sack, swan cut there. Mitch Musin, the free safety for Oregon State, had a pick, 45-yard pick for a touchdown for Oregon State. Really kind of got them their first points, but started that whole momentum shift.
Kegel, tip ball, and Musin almost had his third interception of the game.
Musin almost with the hat trick, and boy, those tip balls are dangerous. And you got to remember now, Kegel's playing with 2 bad shoulders. He's been roughed up a bit. Now Oregon State starting to come pretty hard up inside. Look, that ball has no chance. No chance. The window closed. It just shuts. Right. Guy's not even open. I mean, Pollard's all over the top of it. I don't know what he's seeing. I don't know. We're not seeing. You got me. That's just locking in on a receiver and not reading the play.
Both defense have played great. Oregon State showing a 4-man rush. Kegel with time now. Gets the first down. Harvey out past midfield to the 45-yard line. Trandon Harvey, the redshirt sophomore from National City, California.
Great quicks by Trandon Harvey, Steve. Once he got the ball, boy, he does some nice things with it. Again, run after catch. Simple throw over the middle. Watch this little move right there. That's a nice little spin around, pick up a couple extra yards, don't take a big shot, get down, live another day.
Time to run Chris Brune, and Brune is stood up and tackled for no gain at the 44-yard line by that defensive tackle, Dwan Edwards again.
Edwards did a nice job that time, Steve, spinning off his block, and then he just kept his shoulders parallel, line of scrimmage, and just took Brune and drilled him into the ground. Talked a lot about Dwan Edwards in the first half, really doing a nice job at defensive tackle.
Washington State came in averaging 136 yards rushing per game. They have rushed the football 22 times and have only 5 yards. Kegel again throwing off his back foot. It is broken up and intercepted. It is Mitch Musin with his 3rd interception of this game.
And Steve, the ball never hit the ground. It never hit the ground. Kegel throws a flat ball. Now he doesn't get the ball up, okay? And I believe, I don't know if it was Eric Williams or Brandon Browner. I think Brandon Browner on the coverage. Browner tips the ball. Watch, the ball now lands on Browner, pops up. Mitch Musin right there for the hat trick. 3rd interception of the game. Ball was flat. I tell you, that's a great play by Browner. He almost comes up with the pick himself. His buddy Musin right over the top. Take a look at the Mitch Musin reel. Mitch Musin there. Defense. Great play. There he is on the pick. There's the second pick. Actually, we missed the one, which was the touchdown.
His first was run back 45 yards for a touchdown. Now Anderson looks like he wants to go deep for the home run. Instead, he goes to Newsom, who may have been interfered with, but no flag.
Aggressive play that time by Eric Coleman. I like the play by the free safety.
I'll tell you, the Oregon State record for most interceptions in a game is 4 set by Steve Brown in 1971 against Stanford. So Musin still has, 20 2.5 minutes. Newsom now comes out. He is the most dangerous outside weapon. Inside weapon, of course, Steven Jackson. So James leaves, and now in 2nd and 10, let's see if they hand the ball off to Steven Jackson. Jackson trying to get outside. Cut down, a 3-yard loss. Eric Coleman, you talked about that free safety, waking up tomorrow with a headache. Well, right now he's playing fine.
And Steve, they can ill afford to lose Newsom because he is such a big part of this offense. And I think you said it earlier tonight, maybe you said it to Coach Mike Riley the other day, or Paul Christ, the offensive coordinator. After Newsom, the only guy catching balls is Steven Jackson. Tim Ewis came in, game only 17 catches.
Birding showing blitz, now he drops, and they dump the football off to Steven Jackson. Jackson with a great move. He's still on his feet, gets the first down to the 47-yard line.
That is what makes Steven Jackson so valuable. He comes into the game averaging 169 all-purpose yards a game, Steve, and that's one of the top marks in the country. That is impressive right there. Nice catch, and then it's what he does with the ball once he catches. He's running guys over, putting moves on guys. He is one dangerous big fellow.
Anderson was being blitzed. He had to throw it away.
Nice job by Anderson that time, throwing it away. Nice job by him.
Didi Achelano was right in his face.
Achelano's been in the Oregon State backfield quite a bit tonight.
Isaac Brown has 2, and so is Will Durding and Jeremy Williams.
Steven Jackson coming out right now, Steve. I just believe for a breather.
Oh, they thought they had a hold on Jason David.
Yeah, Jason David, they've been going after him on the little slant and goes, slanting ups quite often tonight.
He's in single coverage so many times. Here's Dwight Wright hammering his way, and Wright with a fine carry of some 7 yards. They don't lose much when they bring Wright in the game. He's the junior from Pomona, and he's run for 260 yards this year.
This is just a fast play, okay? Just a zone play, little zone up the front, finds the crease, nice little seam, and hits it full speed, and that's what you got to do when you step in for big number 34. You got to pick up right where he left off.
Another big 3rd down. The crowd comes to life. Anderson completes the pass to Tim Ewis. Boy, that's a nice catch.
Nice
There
catch.
is a flag down, though.
Nice catch with Will Durding, the linebacker, all over him. All over him.
Well, that Durding something else. 6 feet tall, 234 pounds, but fast. So quick.
Roughing the passer on the defense. Penalty is enforced from the end of the catch or end of the run. 15 yards, automatic first down.
Oregon State finally getting a penalty going against them, or going for them.
Wasn't much, and some good acting by Derek Anderson.
Yeah, that wasn't much of not much of a hit. What was it Isaac Brown that came by, kind of put a hand on him?
Oregon State, they get the football all the way down to the 26-yard line after the foul. Anderson goes back to the air, has plenty of time, fires and completes it. First down at the 11-yard line to George Gillette.
Gillette gave him a nice target that time, Steve, and boy, working against Don Turner, number 25. Turner gambled and got burned. Gillette just ran a nice route, came back to the quarterback.
This is the best drive of the game for Oregon State because they did have the one big play by Mike Hass on his great catch. Jackson back in the game. Stephen will get the call, tries to skip to the outside and gets 1 yard to the 10. Eric Pullman again with the tackle.
Coleman up from his free safety position. He's really playing closer to the line of scrimmage, Steve. And you know, his assignment, you go where number 34 goes. Senior from Spokane, Washington, Eric Coleman, 184 tackles in his career to go along with 8 interceptions. He's really been a great inspirational leader back there as well. Coach is very high on him.
He had 2 interceptions against Oregon State in Washington State's win here in Pullman 2 years ago. Returned one of them for a touchdown. Now on second down, 8 yards to go.
And you got man on man up top here.
He's looking that way, and it's broken up, and no flags again. Oh, I thought Newsom was hit early by Washington State Cougar Jason David, but it'll be third down and 8.
Yeah, Jason David that time came through the man. Timed it up pretty well, Steve. Came through the back of James Newsom. Just good to see Newsom back on the field if you're Oregon State. I think you almost run the same route, but maybe you slide a guy out in the flat, because if you spread them out this way, Steve, they got to match up with you, and not often tonight have they single covered James Newsom. Looks like they're going to bracket him now.
And a sack! A blitz by D.D. Achelano, and he just rips down Derek Anderson, the 4th sack by Washington State in this game.
Achelano coming off the edge, Steve. They try to go play action the other way, and guess what? Achelano says, hello. There to make another sack. Not much he can do. He came out, you know, right when you turn your head, you got defensive color right there. He probably did the wise thing and not even just secure the football.
So Ilanimi, who has been perfect in this game, will try one from 35 yards out, and he hits it dead solid perfect. Oregon State sends their lead now to 12, 28-16 over Washington State. 18 minutes, 46 seconds remaining for Washington State to protect their number 6 ranking. Our Nissan scoring drive. Oregon State took it 52 yards, and Ilanimi with his 4th field goal today for a 12-point lead. Washington State has an opportunity, if they come back and win this game, not only to hold on to either the 6th spot in the Associated Press rankings, but move up because of the loss by Virginia Tech this week. Sammy Moore going backwards. Sammy Moore gets past the 10 finally, and did they say he stepped out?
No, he did.
Finally, he does step out, but not until he gets to the 24-yard line, and that play looked awfully dangerous when it began. This week, the Fox NFL Sunday pregame show is live in Pittsburgh, where our Terry Bradshaw visits with some great Steelers of the past as they celebrate the 1,000th Steelers game. And we reveal the team with the most explosive passing attack in the NFL, and you won't believe who it is. It's all on the Ford F-150 Fox NFL Sunday pregame show tomorrow at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific on Fox.
Well, those reunions are fun. And I'll tell you, Bradshaw will have a great time. That'll be a rip-roaring event.
He always has a great time. Kegel again overthrows, and in his face was a defensive lineman, Bill Swancutt, and he's having to throw off his back foot. He can't step into his throws at all, Rams.
Yeah, watch Swancutt come off the edge here, Steve, and he just, he got some leverage. He got a leverage point. Right? Whoop, that feels good, let me tell you.
He already has a dislocated shoulder and just got slammed on it.
Let me tell you, that feels wonderful when your arm's way up in the air and then you have, someone come and, here, let me hit you like this.
Well, Coach Bill Toba said that Matt Kegel was one tough hoss. So let's see how tough he is, because he's getting slammed by Oregon State, who will dump the pass off to Jermaine Green, who we haven't seen very much of this game because of a rib injury he suffered 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, they were hoping he would be up for today's game, and the senior from Daytona Beach there to make a reception. And Steve, interesting that they just ran 4 wideouts this time, because Mike Levenseller told me that really the best way to play this defense is if they could play 5 wideouts, they would. But right now they're spreading Oregon State out a little bit more, and I think you have some opportunity up top. You got man on man here. You got a lot of room right in front of the slot.
Blitz is on. The pass is caught. They get the first down past the 35-yard line. Scott Lundy in the slot.
Okay, so see, I'm seeing the same thing Levy is now. You know, you got to start spreading these guys out a little bit, and you know what that means, Steve? Matt Keagle's going to take a few extra shots, okay? He's going to take a couple extra shots. Probably not exactly what you want to do, but right now you got to win the ball game. You're the number 6 team in the country. You got to lay out, you got to make plays, and you got to put it on your quarterback's shoulders.
Jermaine Green again. The rush game has been stuffed. It was a late flag that came out.
Hold. Costly penalty this time by Washington State, holding in the interior. Just on the zone play. Call was made by the referee, Jay Streichert.
8 penalties.
Holding on the offense. Penalties enforced, 10 yards from the previous spot. Still first down.
8 penalties for now 55 yards.
Yeah, just when they've gotten a little momentum going tonight, they're set back. They get a little momentum, they're set back.
And remember, they got off to a 14-0 lead in this game, like right now.
One guy one guy that's not on the field right now, Steve, that they had some big plays from in the first half was Chris Jordan, a redshirt freshman. He's not on the field right now.
Keagle stepping up. He has plenty of time. Downfield it goes. First down at the 45-yard line to Jonathan Smith. If he stays on his feet, Washington State is within 5.
Jonathan Smith was kind of a late arrival out of the backfield right. He ends up coming down. Oh, Richard Siegler never saw him, Steve. The middle linebacker never saw him. He made a nice catch, though. You got all this field in front of you. If Keagle puts it on him, where he doesn't have to kind of just lean forward, I mean, he's off to the races. He's scoring.
Winds up with 27 when he could have had 72, but an important first down is made, and Keagle muffs the snap, and flags go flying. This likely will be 5 yards against Washington State.
Looked like the center just missed the snap count. Nick Milhauser never brought the ball up.
Dead ball, snap infraction on the offense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
When 10 are moving on a count and the center still hasn't snapped it, it's usually the center's fault.
That's an oops. That's a Mr. Oops. Yeah, those things happen once in a while.
This is game 2 of our triple header. Earlier, Missouri beat Texas Tech. After this contest, Arizona State is against UCLA. 2 of the most penalized teams in the Pac-10 this year with 17 combined. First and 15 from the 50. Blitz, and again they go to Lundy, and Lundy's made some terrific catches with pressure all over him. This time, Mitch Musin. The last time Musin almost got the knockdown and did get the takedown.
Lundy, a good possession receiver, Steve, the 6'2", 213-pound senior, just using his body, shielding a defender, and giving Keagle a nice target to throw to. And Keagle, is real patient right now. This drive is real important to Washington State. I think you have to come away with points. You'd love 6 on this drive, but if you have to settle for 3.
Right tackle moved. So once again, this is the 3rd penalty on the Washington State Cougars. 1 of 10 yards and 2 of 5. Now they've been able to convert. The last 2 times they suffered penalties, convert to first downs.
Yeah, they've had a lot of...
On the offense, 5-yard penalty, still second down.
There's the most penalty yards. There are most penalty yards per game. Oregon State, Washington State running neck and neck. Not really what either head coach wants. But Steve, the offensive line today of Washington State, a little bit of a patchwork offense. You remember Josh Parrish, the big left guard. He had a baby this week. Son Dakota, about a 9-pound, 2-ouncer baby. Mother and baby are healthy, but he was away from practice for a couple days.
Keagle looking for the first down.
Kegel wasn't making these throws in the first half, Steve. This one he steps into and really wings it. Watch, he sets his feet, then he gets a nice target, fires the ball with authority down the middle of the field. Mitch Musin close by from that free safety position. But Lundy, once again, using his body. Good, solid possession receiver. I like how they're spreading Oregon State out here, Steve. Still in 4 wide offense.
This has been an air attack complete, but Bill Swancutt takes him down. That is the 5th sack by Oregon State in this game and the 3rd by Swancutt.
And Swancutt led the team last year, Steve, with 11.5 sacks. He can bring it.
Oregon State trying to pull the stunner in Pullman, Washington. It's 28-16 Beavers. Oregon State with 15 minutes to go before pulling a stunning upset of Washington State. 15 minutes, a lot of time, and Matt Kegel on a drive, facing a 2nd down and 18. He's in shotgun, 2 receivers off to the right side. Kegel rolls to the right side, fires downfield. It is incomplete. Darling made the catch out of bounds.
You just asked a moment ago, Steve, at the break, where's DeVar Darling been? Caught a couple balls in the first half, and then kind of has gone silent. That time the ball taking him out of bounds. I like the fact that they went to shotgun.
Now you've got 3rd down and 18. Do you at least give Drew Dunning a chance to get 3 points?
Well, yeah, you gotta complete. You can't get it all, maybe, but you can get half of it. Lundy comes back in the game. He'll be in the slot up top. Lundy right here. He's caught a couple balls of recent for a couple big plays.
4-man rush by Oregon State. Kegel goes downfield. Lundy's there again for the first down. Oh, the big plays by number 35, Scott Lundy. Three times Matt Kegel has gone to Scott Lundy on this drive on critical 3rd down conversions.
And right here, Kegel waits as long as he can, Steve, and then that's just, I don't want to say that's a throw of desperation, but let's just say that's a throw to a trusted receiver because he puts the ball up, kind of hangs down the middle. Lundy there breaks on the ball, makes a great catch.
Kegel back to the air. Lundy, touchdown!
Nice job again from the slot. Look at the move inside. Again, Steve, it's shielding the defender away from the ball. He does as good a job as I've seen any receiver do of recent. Boy, he does a nice job. Once he goes up for it, gets his body situated in the air, and then makes a nice catch.
And Washington State right back in it. They have cut the Oregon State lead to 5. Matt Kegel to Scott Lundy, the star of this drive. Scott Lundy, the star of that 76-yard drive. The Nissan scoring drive, 10 plays, and 3 times Lundy bailed them out of 3rd and long jams. And he played like his coach, Mike Levenseller, who is a great wide receiver here at Washington State. From the 1-yard line. Oregon State's Eric Williams down at the 17. Our Napa game summary. Heck of a ball game here in the Palouse. Washington State, number 6 in the nation, down by 5. Oregon State scored 25 unanswered points after trailing 14-0. But Washington State still -5 in turnovers in this game. They have committed 3 interceptions by safety Mitch Musin. And you see the total yards. Oregon State has been outdone by Washington State, yet they lead by 5. Derek Anderson will try and quiet these rowdies. Blitz. Anderson. Newsom breaks the tackle. Breaks one more. Newsom to midfield. and to the 45-yard line.
And who do you think made the tackle? Will Durding. How about that?
And he was blitzing on the play.
Yeah, Will Durding came on the blitz. That's a great play by James Newsom, Steve, and a heck of a throw by Derek Anderson. Watch him again. He's patient. Here comes the blitz. Here comes the blitz. He stays with his receiver. Newsom, ball's a little behind him. Al Genito, miss. Will Durding there, 51, finally bringing him down. Boy, he can run. Man. Good hustle. Nice cut back that time by Newsom. Bring it across the grain. Big gain for Oregon State.
Will Durding's been all over this field. The touchdown saving tackle. Now it's Steven Jackson, and he hammers his way for about 5 yards. Our virtual question we asked in the first half, who is the greatest NCAA football coach of all time? A lot of fans in Alabama staying up late to vote on this one. 51% go with the Bear, 14 go with Joe and Bobby, even though they have more victories.
Yeah, that would be my vote too. Bear Bryant.
John McKay was pretty good. You know who else is good? Tom Osborne of Nebraska.
Hey, let's not forget Terry Donahue, my old coach, a winning coach in the Pac-10. I don't see his name up there.
Newt Rockne wasn't there. Pop Warner.
Ara Parshigian. Yeah.
Yep. Jackson. Jackson should have been stopped at the line of scrimmage. Gains about 2. It'll be 3rd down and 2 more.
But Jackson lunged ahead, Steve, and again creates a third and what appears to be kind of a long one. Call it 2. Very important drive for Oregon State.
I think we're going to have a heck of a finish.
Yeah. Boy, how fast did that third quarter go, huh?
Well, they gave it to Steven Jackson a lot more.
Yep.
And that got that clock going. 3rd and 2. Blitz. Anderson goes down to the 46. The 5th sack. And it's Will Durding, the Cowboy from Okanogan, Washington.
And he goes for a ride, too, let me tell you. Will Durding comes in, knifes in. Clean shot, Steve. Clean shot. Take a look at Will Durding. Times it up perfect. Comes blowing through B-gap, and no one puts a hat on him. Will Durding's played a spectacular game all day long. There he is on another sack, and that's just a huge play because it takes him out of field goal range as well.
Toby drops the football. Washington State can take the lead. 1st and goal, Cougars inside the 10. Scott Davis picks up the football and gets it all the way to the 8-yard line.
Scott Davis, reserve linebacker. Watch, Toby doesn't handle the high snap, Steve. All of a sudden, ball squirts out. Scott Davis picks it up. Here he goes. Rumbling, stumbling. Go. Look at him. His teammate got a nice block, too, Steve. You know what? That's good football. Brother Mo, momentum back on Washington State Cougars side. They got a chance to stick it in the end zone here and take the lead.
Special teams play. Mike Riley saw his center snap one over Toby's head that resulted in a 2-point safety. This one was a little high, and it threw Toby off. He dropped it, and Davis picks it up and gets it to the 8-yard line. Now Kegel. Play action. Kegel rolls away from the pressure. Fires end zone. Intercepted, Oregon State. Can you believe it?
Oh, that's wanting too much. I thought Kegel, you know what I thought he'd do? I thought he'd throw it out of the end zone.
I did too.
Yeah, I really did. And then all of a sudden he saw a flash and he went for it all.
Live to fight another day, young man. Eric Williams with a critical interception here in the 4th quarter to keep Washington State out of the end zone.
And Steve, I like what they do here. They roll out, they spread the field, but right there, that's just trying to get too much, trying to get the ball in the back corner to DeVar Darling, and he just didn't see Eric Williams. Number 8 sprouts up. There he is. Pick.
You don't have to keep trouble from. You can't sometimes keep trouble from coming, but you don't have to offer it a chair. Now it's Steven Jackson, and Jackson past the 20. to the 25, to the 27. A gain of 7 yards by Steven Jackson. Clock winds down inside of 11.5 minutes. And for Oregon State, they've ripped a page out of the Washington State book of success. Washington State was plus 14 in turnovers this year, and mainly because of the play of Keagle, who only had 4 picks coming into the game, but 5 picks, and they are minus 6 in turnovers against Oregon State. And yet Bill Doba knows he still has a chance to protect that number 6 ranking in college football.
And Keagle only had 4 picks in the first 7 games, Steve. That's the big figure.
Anderson.
Ball.
Fumbles. Washington State has it.
Al Genatone with the recovery. Don't know who stripped it. You know, Washington State's really going after the ball right now, Steve. I've watched them on special teams the last couple series on defense. Defensive coordinator Rob Akey has them just going after the strip. I believe that was Ty Tupai. Big Ty. Watch him come in at the left of your screen. Gets his big hand in there, swats the ball. They're just harassing Derek Anderson. Ball comes out, Mike Riley's head down.
Washington State with yet another opportunity. 10:47 left. Keagle has Jonathan Smith as his running back behind him.
Again, Washington State spreading out this Oregon State defense. Rob Akey, the defensive coordinator, fired up on the sideline.
Washington State uses their first timeout of the game, down 5 when we come back. College Football Saturday on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by Kyocera, the new value frontier. By Campbell's Chunky Soup, it fills you up right. By Subway, good, so you don't always have to be. And by the next Ford F-150, built Ford tough. Number 6, Washington State trying to reclaim the lead. They last led 14-0, and then Oregon State ripped off 25 in a row. Keagle will throw. Left side, DeVar Garland. Almost intercepted. It was right in the hands of Brandon Browner. And Keagle has been way too greedy in this 4th quarter.
Well, I couldn't tell who exactly he was throwing to, whether it was Harvey or Darling, Steve, and it looked like he was trying to get the ball to Harvey, and Harvey was close. Harvey was closest to it, but maybe he was going for Darling, and the ball was just short. He didn't step into it. Ball hits the ground. Fine. How about Lundy?
Yeah, I'm thinking the same
Lundy's
thing.
right there, right in the slot. He's been the go-to guy on 3rd down.
They go Lundy's way. First down, Lundy inside the 15-yard line. This is his biggest game of his career.
Lundy has been the guy. He has been the guy in the second half. What's he got? 7 catches now for 100. Gain of 18. Lundy, just a slant, finds the middle of the defense again. A good possession type receiver, Steve. He is having a field day right now, running free.
He's making Washington State QB Matt Keagle a Lundy morning quarterback. Lundy again in the slot right side. Keagle fires his way. Touchdown! Scott Lundy, the hero!
Boy, oh boy, that is scheming at its best. I will tell you that. And he got rocked. Steve, watch this little move right here. Little out, and then he comes back around. Great catch, and he just gets the hammer just brought down on him. Number 7, Lawrence Turner, the strong safety. Oh, man, that was a big hit.
You know what's remarkable about Scott Lundy? He originally signed with Oregon State. But then Dennis Erickson's regime came in and said, Lundy's not fast enough. We're going to take away the scholarship.
He's not our guy.
And he committed to Washington State, and now he's coming back to beat the Beavers. He's from Vancouver, Washington, just across the Portland border, across the river.
Washington State's got to burn another timeout here, Steve.
They do. They have one timeout left. They're going for the 2 points.
Steve, watch this. Lundy's in the slot, okay? He's right here. He's going to run a little shake and then come back. Right now they're in cover 2, so they're trying to hold the safeties. But watch the hit by Turner. Once Lundy, man, I'm telling you what, he catches the ball. That's just a great catch. And that's a little scheme right there that Mike Levenseller and Tim Rosenbach put together. And I got to tell you, I was talking to Levy this morning, and Rosie was over there working out. So I said, hey, what you guys doing? They said, oh, man, on Mondays, we game plan. We put some hurtin' music on. I said, hurtin'? Oh, we put some country music on, and we sit there and start scheming. and there's Levy right there, and Bill Doba. But, these guys get after it, man. That's good football.
Well, Rams are college football presented by Kyocera. Triple header continues next with Arizona State taking on first place UCLA. College football continues next right here on Fox Sports Net. That means Andrew Walter with his big arm will be attacking UCLA's great defense, and the Bruins starting Matt Moore over Drew Olson in that one. This is a big 2-point conversion trying to give Washington State a 3-point lead. They know they need it because of the weapon that Oregon State has, Kirk Ilanimi. Kegel rolls away from pressure. The pass is picked off, and the result is just a 1-point lead for the Cougars at 29-28. Another takeaway, and this time Eric Williams with his second interception.
Boy, nice play by Eric Williams. They pushed everyone out to the right, Steve, and right there again, trying to get too much. Trying to make it happen right on the corner. And that's tough. That's hard football.
Well, they were going away from Lundy. Yeah. They should have gotten his way again. Yeah. There he is. He was Lundy, on the sideline.
Lundy just with the hot hand.
What a game by this kid. So now it's Oregon State's turn to come from behind. They're down 1. At one time in this half, they led by 12, but the number 6 team in the nation did not quit, and you see that enthusiasm back on the Washington State sideline. 10-14 left.
They really turned the momentum game around here, Steve, and now, you talk about adversity. Matt Kegel on the phone with Tim Rosenbach upstairs. He's getting some attaboys.
Well, he's one of the most courageous players you'll find in the Pac-10 this weekend. Playing with 2 bad shoulders. We are here at Martin Stadium in Pullman, Washington. The number 6 team in the nation, the Washington State Cougars, entertaining the Oregon State Beavers. Steve Biziak, Tom Ramsey with you. It has been a back-and-forth fight. So many turnovers, 10 in the game. And here is the Scott Lundy masterpiece that got his team the lead.
Nice little shake and bake over the middle. He gets the hammer dropped on him by Lawrence Turner, Steve. But Scott Lundy has really dominated the fourth quarter here for Washington State. Matt Kegel finding him time and again for big gains in the go-ahead score.
Jackson, and a swarm is there, and a flag is thrown. Achelano was there. Tupai Williams.
Washington State's defense starting to turn up the heat right now, Steve. Playing with a little more. Now when they play with a lead, boy, they really pin their ears back.
First and 20.
Yeah, repeat first down holding on Oregon State. Jay Strikert there with the call. Crowd getting back into it. Keep an eye on 51, Will Dirting. James Newsom being the slot this time.
Anderson, Newsom. No interference. Jason David with great coverage on James Newsom.
Yeah, he had the hand. He had the old pro move going. Had the hand on the shoulder, over the back, up over the top. And Jason David is one of these experienced corners, Steve, and he's man on man with James Newsom. Nice throw by Anderson. See the arm over the back, and Just a real good play by Jason David.
Marcus Trufant, the first-round draft pick from Washington State. Now as Seattle taught him well.
Yes, he did.
Anderson still back to the air. It goes. It's almost intercepted right in the arms of Carl Payma, but he could not hold on, so it will be very, very difficult situation for Mike Riley.
Watch Gillette trying to work inside Payma. Great position, Steve. Just stole the position away from the receiver. Good football by Carl Payma. Another experienced corner. So who do you go to now? Do you go to your number 1 guy, James Newsom, number 2 receiver in the country? You see the numbers on Derek Anderson, 14 of 38, 252, 1 TD.
Who's going to step up for Oregon State?
You know, the drive right now, even if you don't get a first, you got to get a gain just so you gain some field position with a punt.
Blitz is on. Anderson downfield. Intercepted. Eric Coleman.
Derek Anderson doesn't want to throw this ball, Steve, because you know what? Field position is important here. 9:44 left on the clock. Derek Anderson throws one up for grabs, and Eric Coleman, they ended up bracketing James Newsom, okay? Free safety over the top of the split end, so they got a 2-on-1. You don't throw it into 2-on-1. Take the incomplete, okay? Turnovers. Oregon State trying to catch up with Washington State now, 4-7.
That has been Derek Anderson's problem all year long. We see a penalty flag here. This will be a 5 yards, but he now has, 17 interceptions this year? And Mike Riley said to us earlier this week, he said he has the greatest intentions in the world, great work habits, extra tape time with Paul Chryst, the offensive coordinator. And look at this, 22 interceptions in the last 12 games, only 6 in the previous 9. But Mike said sometimes he wants to do so badly, he narrows his vision and forces the throw.
Right. The guy talking to him right there, Jonathan Smith, record-setting quarterback at Oregon State, now graduate assistant, quarterback mentor to Derek Anderson. And did you see how animated Jonathan Smith got? Because with 9.5 minutes left, Steve, you don't make that throw. Keep your team in the ball game. Give them a chance. You could line up. You can punt the ball away. Toby's a good punter. Get something back in field position. Don't try to make it all happen in one play.
How about a screen pass to Steven Jackson?
How about it? How about it? Well, when they double team your number 1 receiver, which you would expect them to do, bracket it over the top. You can't just wing it down the field and hope he catches it. You gotta make a smart throw.
Washington State trying to put it in the deep freeze. Broken up at the goal line, intended for Darling. Eric Williams, who has 2 interceptions in the second half with the terrific coverage on Darling.
And Darling really has the size advantage there, about 6'3" to about 6 foot. Darling's a big-bodied guy, too, trying to fight for the ball. Ball just didn't get out. Ball didn't get out as well as Kegel would want it. Darling, fought for it pretty well. Williams, though, has got the hot hand right now.
Lundy goes in the slot. Do they go back there just to get field position for Drew Dunning?
Sure they do.
Because a field goal is huge.
Well, sure. They haven't been able to cover Lundy all night. Lundy right here in the slot.
Mitch Musin is now on him. Kegel looks for Lundy, and it's picked off! Mitch Musin's 4th interception, tying an Oregon State record.
He's taking it all the way, Steve.
Flags all over the place, but Musin out of bounds at the 15-yard line.
Flags all over the place.
Did he foul Scott Lundy on the throw?
Well, by the Washington State coaches jumping up and down, I would think yes. Musin has had a game as well, Steve.
It looked like there may have been contact as the ball was in the air. But the officials will meet. And some very interested coaches on both sides. Bill Doba there, Mike Riley on Oregon State side.
Mike Riley, that look of frustration appears yet again.
Musin kept on creeping up into that Lundy slot. Wow.
Oh, you know what? Hold on.
Ball holding on Musin.
Well, no, they roughed the passer,
but the passer.
Let's take a look here. Okay, Kegel. Oh yeah, Kegel gets hammered, but I thought the flag. Okay, so Jay Strikert. I see one flag, but then there was another flag. Boy, Jonathan Smith, Steve, came and belted Mitch Musin. Watch the late hit. Bam. Okay, so
instead of Oregon State having a great opportunity at the 15-yard line, Washington State is now in field goal range at the 22. So two big mistakes, one by a rusher, one by Musin on the hold, defensive holding, and now we'll give it to Jonathan Smith who breaks free, and Smith will score!
boy, Jonathan Smith is good. Watch. They roll right here, Steve. Just, that's a great cut back there. Boy, he put Lawrence Turner on his heels, and Browner unable to bring him down. Josh Parrish, the happy father, down, congratulating him. Wow, that's a good move there.
What a comeback by Washington State, down 12 in the second half. And now they are up 36-28, a 20-point swing by the Cougars. Washington State's kickoff is run back by Oregon State. Not a good decision. Go to one knee, take it at the 20. Instead, you start out at the 12.
Crawford there to make the tackle. Take a look at the touchdown, Steve. Nice little zone block again up top. And then Jonathan Smith there to do some razzle-dazzle. Nice footwork into the end zone. No reaction. Matt Kegel a little fired up. First guy over there to give him a high five was Coach Bill Doba.
Well, Mike Riley told his troops early in the week, play through adversity. The adversity is here. As Oregon State at one time had a 12-point lead in this half. Now Washington State is up 8. Anderson, though, with plenty of time left, gives it to Jackson, and Jackson muscles his way forward to the 20-yard line. A gain of maybe 7 yards in the play. Al Genatone on the tackle.
Hey, one-score game, Steve. One-score game.
Exactly.
You get a score and 2-point conversion. You're in it. You're rocking and rolling. You got plenty of time. Okay, but play smart, safe football here. Hand the ball to 34. Get as much as you can. Throw when you have to. But Derek Anderson has to keep it away from the red shirts.
2nd and 3. Jackson 69 yards rushing, but on 25 carries. Jackson was blitzing, and Jackson gets through.
First down.
Don Jackson, the middle linebacker, was blitzing in the play. It's a first down near the 30, or near the 25, excuse me. Will Durding, how about this young man? You know, he says his hobbies are roping, welding, and hunting, and all 3 are illegal in his dormitory. What fun can he have?
I mean, you could weld a lot of good things together in your dorm room.
You got that right. Now from the 25-yard line, Oregon State with the first down. Anderson goes to Newsom, and he's smothered by Jason David and is tackled at the 32, maybe the 33-yard line. They'll need another 2 yards. This is great. This is the position that Riley wanted to be in, 2nd and shorts. Now you've got to watch out for Jackson, but you have the opportunity for play action to work.
Check out the score by quarters. Oregon State got on the board only after 14-0 deficit. Mitch Musin took one in from 45 yards out, his first of 4 interceptions, and then you see Oregon State went ahead and went on a pretty good roll, but it's been all Washington State here in the 4th quarter.
Something happened. Why didn't Anderson just throw it away? Why did he take the sack?
He went the wrong way and just couldn't get turned around. Lost his spatial orientation, Steve. How's that? That's being kind here. Okay, oops, went the wrong way. Oh, free guy. Didi Achalanu once again in the Oregon State backfield. They should charge him rent, Steve. Achalanu's been back there so much.
7 sacks by Washington State in this game. Now it's a 3rd down and 9 for Oregon State. 6:44 to go. Dirting is blitzing. Anderson in trouble. He's sacked for the 8th time. It's Didi Achalanu.
Tenacious, hard-hitting, blitzing Washington State defense again. They bring all the linebackers, and they got a sack. Don Jackson, Will Dirty, Achalanu coming off the edge once again. 8 sacks is a bunch.
Were you surprised that they ran play action on 3rd and 9?
Not entirely.
Sammy Moore calls for the fair catch at his 43. Now Oregon State's defense must play big. Our college football presented by Kyocera Tripleheader continues next. Arizona State and Andrew Walter fires his game against the UCLA Bruins with their outstanding defense led by Rodney Leslie, Brandon Chiller,
Spencer Havener. Spencer Havener was a special teams player of the week last week. Brandon Chiller, defensive player of the week last week in the Pac-10. They do have they got some guys that can run. Oh, man.
Now Jonathan Smith will run, and he loses a yard. It'll be 2nd down and 11. Richard Siegler on the tackle. And as the Pac-10 standings we showed you at the beginning, USC smashed Washington today 43-23. So the Trojans just a half game back of UCLA, who plays later against Arizona State, and Washington State trying to go 4-0 and again stay on top by 1. The UCLA game just kicked off. They're hosting Arizona State. 2nd down, 11 yards to go. Vildova trying to protect his 8-point lead. Smith trying to get outside, nothing doing. Smith cut down after a 5-6 yard loss. Edward finally finishes him off.
That was, you know what, Steve? That was a huge loss. But I got to tell you, Jonathan Smith is waving the ball around like it's one of the flags the cheerleaders are waving around on the sideline. I mean, this ball, if Oregon State punches it out, watch the ball in his left arm. Swing, swing, swing. Whoa! And Dewan Edwards comes over the top, finally handcuffs him, puts him down. But it looked like Jonathan Smith right there, waving the pom-pom around.
Well, a big defensive stand here for Oregon State. It's 3rd down and 18. 4.5 to play, and they've been very inconsistent offensively. Kegel taking the high snap, stepping up. He will run and be cut down at the 38-yard line. So it's 4th down and about 16 to go. A punt will be called on. And this is one of those times where Cole Clayson has to really be sure about catching that football well. I mean, everybody wants to make the big play, catch it, and run it back, tie this game up with a 2-point conversion. But Clayson first has to make the catch.
Oregon State coming after it.
Rosler at the 25-yard line. Rosler gets it off. It hits at the 30-yard line and is down near the 32. So a very poor punt at just 29 yards by Kyle Bosler, who's been hammering him to the tune of 44-yard average.
Awfully short kick, Steve. You see what happens when you bring pressure after a kicker sometimes? They don't get the foot on the ball. And that was an awfully short kick. Gives Oregon State great field position. Now you got to keep an eye on the clock. 3:31 left. If you're Derek Anderson, you need a score and a 2-point conversion.
And Oregon State has all 3 timeouts remaining.
That's right. Find your guy, James Newsom, down at the bottom of the screen. Numbers on Anderson.
Anderson will run. And he is smacked down at the 40-yard line, but a gain of 8 in the play, making it 2nd down and 2.
Will
This
Dirting
makes Jackson part of the offense again.
Will Dirting again. Dirting with the tackle, but a nice gain that time by Anderson. Doing something with the ball. Liked the decision. Rolled right. Didn't have a lot of areas to go with the ball. One guy that's been completely silent has been Farley. We haven't heard from him, Steve. I don't even know if he's caught a ball today.
Blitz shown. They run Jackson. Jackson gets through for the first down and is tackled by Achelano at the 48-yard line.
Man, Steven Jackson is good.
Well, he's gone over 80 yards now rushing.
Over 80.
It's taken 27 carries, 82 yards. But he has been the #1 concern of Rob Akey's defense.
He's a workhorse, and he's going to get a few more carries on this drive. You can bet your bottom dollar here. Again, James Newsom down at the bottom of the screen, and they're really, at least Coleman, this is Newsom.
Anderson will be sacked for the 9th time in this game.
Steve, sometimes you just got to dump the ball, get rid of it. Doesn't mean you have to take a sack. Just dump it, take an incompletion. Again, Don Jackson with a little delayed blitz from his Mike linebacker position. Jeremy Williams there to make the hit. Jackson there to polish him off. There's Rob Akey, defensive coordinator. Look at that. Most QB sacks last 3 seasons. Washington State right up near the top.
Oregon State.
How about
it's
that?
The first down. It's Kenny Farley.
They got a slot receiver after all, Steve. Kenny Farley there, breaking the silence. 6'3", 227-pound senior. They expected, they just got to get more out of that slot position. Farley came into the game with only 8 catches, but he averages 22 yards a catch, so you just got to get that guy the ball a little more.
Looks like we will have a measurement here. Mike Riley has 1:45 remaining in this game. He needs the touchdown and a 2-point conversion to tie it. They need 1 inch.
I know what I'd do.
Number 34.
Well, or just number 14. You go ahead and lean ahead, get your first down. Okay. I mean, you run a sneak, you get your first down, the clock will stop to move the chains. Okay, so you don't need to burn a timeout, but now you're going to have to use a timeout here shortly.
Anderson does sneak. And he's ridden down, and I think he takes a loss.
No, I don't think he got it.
No, he didn't.
That was not a fire off by the offensive line. That was a stuff by the D line. Why? I don't get it. Oregon State calls timeout now. Don't they still have to measure, Steve?
No, because they got stuffed by about a foot, so they went backwards a foot from where the last mark was. Our Kyocera digital camera shot of the day. Scott Lundy's catch and hit for the go-ahead touchdown. Lundy is the star of the game.
So far.
So far is right. That is your Kyocera. He took a shot of the day.
Yes, he did.
It's 4th down and 1 yard to go. I really thought they would just turn and give it to 34. You trust 34 hammering line of scrimmage more than you do Derek Anderson.
When I say run a quarterback sneak, I meant go straight ahead, not go down the line of scrimmage and get pummeled.
The late blitz that Rob Akey brought with Jackson Dirting really helped out. They got to the middle, and that surge it wasn't there. Bill who he knows was the architect of this defense, Rob Akey, taking over. He's the defensive line coach as well. 6th year at Washington State. So it's a 4th down and inches for Oregon State. 1:17 left. Ewis goes motion. Jackson pulls his way. Did he get it? Oh, what a surge by Steven Jackson.
Yeah, he did. Okay, so clock will stop on the move of the chains, reset of the chains. Derek Anderson's got to get moving along here. Watch, Steven Jackson gets hit in the backfield, Steve. Man, he got popped. Virgil Williams there to make the hit, but he stayed with it.
Now Anderson back to the air. It's intercepted! Jason David! What a game he has played. And Jason David hurls the interception into the stands.
And he draws a flag. Jason David, what a play. What a play, stepping in front of James Newsom. Watch the ball come out. Steve, why does it appear that Newsom either didn't see it or didn't go after it? 12th turnover of the game.
Well,
5th by Oregon State.
It's time for a piggyback ride from his defensive tackle, Jeremy Williams, and Mike Riley, whose team was up 12 in the 3rd quarter, now has been put in the deep freeze unless Washington State suffers a turnover. But Jason David, whose job was to cover one of the great receivers in the country, James Newsom, did not only a remarkable job covering Newsom, he comes up with the game-clinching interception.
Newsom either didn't see it. I'm not sure what happened, but I tell you who did see it. Jason David.
Was he open?
Well, he just broke on the football so well. It was, you got to secure the football here. Jonathan Smith with 2 arms on the ball. Good decision.
Clock winds down to 50 seconds, 49 seconds left. Now Oregon State has 2 timeouts remaining.
I'd call one right away.
They do, but they took 3-4 seconds off the clock.
Yep.
This has been a wild game, and take a look at some of the second half craziness we've seen.
Yep. Drop ball by Toby. Scooped up by Washington State. Washington State tried to go for the score on the next play, got picked off by Eric Williams, and then the Derek Anderson fumble, Al Genatone recovery led to that big touchdown by Scott Lundy, the big receiver here for Washington State in the second half. The pick by Eric Coleman, Jonathan Smith touchdown, nice move there. And Jason David with a big old interception just a moment ago.
Well, the defensive players of the game have to be the entire defense by Washington State, but the offensive player of the game, no question. The Kyocera player of the game, Scott Lundy, 7 catches, 101 yards, and not only 2 touchdowns, but he gave them the one that got them back in the game, and then his second one was the game winner.
Yeah, well, just on the one drive alone, he had 5 catches for 72 yards.
3 of them were 3rd and long conversions.
Man, he took control. And Matt Kegel did a great job toughing it out, Steve. He got beat up in the first 3 quarters. He took some shots and took his lumps, playing with a couple banged up shoulders, but he has really stepped up and become the leader of this football team and brought them back from a deficit tonight that now really creates a nice matchup next week. Washington State going down, playing the Trojans down at Southern Cal, and it's going to be interesting.
It will be 4-0 Washington State against 3-1 USC. And there will be still 2 unbeatens left, depending upon if UCLA survives against Arizona State. They have just started that game down at the Rose Bowl, and UCLA is 3-0 going against Arizona State. That's a dangerous team. They're 4-3. They're ready to explode.
Yeah, Washington State, the remainder, I thought this game, you know, when you looked at where they were at kickoff of this game, going into their next 5, that's not easy sledding there. And the Apple Cup it's a toss-up all the time.
USC, UCLA, Arizona State, Washington. I mean, that's as tough a finish as any team in college football.
And there you got the score that down in Pasadena tonight. UCLA leading 3-0 in the first quarter, and that game will come on right after the end of this one. Count on that one being a good one, too.
Kegel to Smith. Smith is tracked down at the 20-yard line. The clock will continue to wind down. And they'll probably have about 3 seconds left. And then you can just run around in the end zone. You can just snap the ball and just run out of the end zone if you don't want to punt it to them.
You know, I had one of the coaches come up to me, Paul Chris, the offensive coordinator for Oregon State, came up to me before the game, Steve, and he said, "Man, you and Physiok do such a good job." He goes, I'm always looking for your games because they're so good. And I'm like, well, yeah, and we're the reason why. You guys are the reason why.
It is over. Bill Doba's football team, the Washington State Cougars, will go to 7-1 in the season. They protect their number 6 ranking in college football by going 4-0. Both teams started walking out on the field, and as we talked about earlier, there had to be one more play. There has to be one more snap. They put it back up to 28 seconds left, but then Washington State will have an opportunity because there was 41 seconds left when they ran the play. It got down to 34, so you know it has to, with the 25-second clock, at least get down to about 8. Now, Bill Doba could do one of two things. He could punt him the football, or he could have his guy run around and then run out of the end zone.
That's dangerous.
I know.
That's dangerous.
Well, you know Oregon State is going to be coming with everybody. All kinds of pressure here. Down 2-1.
Okay, hold on.
There's 2 seconds left.
A striker throws his penalty flag, so they're going to have a delay of game.
I mean, the teams are walking off, and I can't understand this, because both coaching staffs were telling their kids there has to be one more play.
Clock will start on the snap.
Jason David a little fired up, isn't he? Saying you can go buy the Jason David shirt at the Cougar store right around the corner.
Oregon State will go to 5-3 in the season and 2-2 on the season. This was a must-win game for Oregon State to hold on to their chances of winning the Pac-10 title. Now they will be over unless there is a poor snap here. Well, there's nothing they can do to snap the clock. They can just snap it to Kegel. He goes to one knee. Game over.
Now Bill Doba used his final timeout. What he's going to say is, what you want to do is just give the ball to, Jason David and just, or just make sure Matt Kegel stands with it for 3 seconds and get pummeled and take a loss on the last play and be done with the game. I can't wait for the next game.
It's the Sun Devils against the UCLA Bruins. Right now, UCLA holding a 3-0 lead in the first quarter of that game at the Rose Bowl. And we will go to it right after this contest. It's the third of our triple header today. We had Texas Tech and Missouri, and then Oregon State in town to battle the number 6 team in the nation. At one time, Oregon State held a 12-point lead in the third quarter. But sacks, interceptions, mistakes, and a determined Washington State team.
12 turnovers tonight. 7 by Washington State, 5 by Oregon State. It's how costly do you want to make your turnover game? You know, that's the ticket tonight. Okay, so now they're going to bring out the punter, Steve. They will elect to punt the ball here. Oregon State, you bet your bottom dollar, they are going after it. This is dangerous sled.
It is, because the Bosler has to catch it clean. They will snap it true, and he will run out of the end zone. He takes the 2 points. And now it's a 6-point game, 36-30 the final score. That's going to do it from Pullman, Washington, where the final score is 36-30. Oregon State loses to Washington State.
Parker leading the Idaho team out against us when I was a junior, and I thought, who the hell is that? And I thought, if this little roly-poly guy trips, they'll trample him, they'll make a pancake out of him. And there I was the next damn year right behind him running down that same ramp.
I always...
Number one, baby, we about to take this pack. We about to take it.
You ready? Yeah. Come on. Come on now.
Got plenty of distance on it. Stay down, stay down, stay down. There you go. Good.
All right, hey, listen.
First down, Kegel, play action fake, good protection, and Matt lofts it out, intended for Darling, and it's picked off by Brandon Browner. That's a pretty good way to start the football game.
The Beaver defense came to Pullman ready to battle. Brandon Browner's interception on the first play of the game was just the beginning.
Beavers blitz, Jason Jean-Baptiste with a sack.
By halftime, the Beavs had taken the ball away 5 times.
They had capitalized big time on turnovers themselves. I mean, we can go back to the Oregon game and see what happened in that game. How many different times the ball was tipped, they'd get an interception, they'd run a trick play, they'd score a touchdown. And so, I think we felt like we had to turn the tide somehow.
4th and 1 at the Beaver 31. They need a full yard, and they run Smith, and they're not going to get it. Jason Jean-Baptiste and Ziegler pull him down. A great effort by Smith to almost pull away, but he was pulled down for no gain officially, and the Beavers take over. Huge play, Bob.
Jason Jean-Baptiste was the one responsible for stacking that thing up.
We tried everything that we could. We played hard. You just want to come into this game. We know we had a tough opponent. We know their offense is one of the most potent in the Pac-10. But, we prepared well for them. And we did what we had to do. We tried to, everything they threw at us, we tried our hardest to, come back and just do what we had to do.
It's the best D right here. We ain't spread that center, so I'm dropping it back. Center on his face, man. I'm hoping it's his.
Hey, listen to me. I want you to hear me now. I want you to hear me. Listen to me. I want your eyes. Give me your eyes. Now listen, okay? Okay? We got a plan, right? We got a plan. We're sticking to the plan.
And Kegel back to throw on first down. Lundy, the intended target. The pocket breaks down. The ball comes out. The Beavers recover at the Cougar 22. That's the 4th turnover against Washington State. The Beavers have come up with it on the Kegel fumble, and it's Richard Ziegler who has it.
Let's put pressure on Kegel because we know if we could put pressure on him, we could maybe cause some turnovers or, get the things going our way. So that was one of the main things that we wanted to do tonight. We were successful.
Kegel again back to throw. Kegel in trouble. He's sacked. Drops the football. It's 2 points for Oregon State. And Sammy Moore won't get much, and then fumbles, and Oregon State has it at the 29.
I can see it, baby. We got long game. We got long game, man. They know what's happening.
Long count for Kegel. The Beavers are bringing pressure. The throw over the middle is tipped and picked off by Musin at the 35 to the 30. Right sideline 25, 20. Cuts back into the 10 to the 5. Touchdown Beavers! Mitch Musin takes it back. No penalty flags. A return of 43, and the Beavers are on the board. board.
Scoring the touchdown was, that was awesome. I had never scored a touchdown on an interception before, so that was really fun to get that. Well, I know I could get around the lineman, but I didn't know where the quarterback was at, but Swanee made a really good block, and some of the other D linemen were up there making blocks there, was just helping me out and getting in the end zone.
This game marked a big milestone for Mitch Musin after a career playing a multitude of positions in 3 different sports, football, basketball, and baseball. The junior from Forest Grove has narrowed it down to just one sport, football, and just one position, safety.
It's a lot different to get used to at first. When I first got here, is doing the same thing the whole year. So, it was different, but, it's what I do now, and I've gotten used to it.
Some guys have a general savvy for playing sports, and if you put them on a ping pong table, they can probably play, and if you put them on a tennis court, they'd probably be okay, and they get a feel for playing the games that they're in. And I'd say that's true about people like Mitch. He's just kind of an all-around athlete, understands, sees things quicker, diagnoses things quicker than just the average guy, and that's what puts him in position a lot of times to make plays like he does.
Mitch Musin picks it off again. Musin will go down immediately at the Washington State 40.
People talk about it. I don't know. I don't really feel any different. I just, try and read what the quarterback's doing and what the receivers are doing. Just try and put myself in a place to make plays, and that's been happening for me.
It's deep down the left sideline. Browner turns, tips it, and nearly picked it off, and it does go into the hands of Musin on the interception.
Musin picked off 3 Matt Kegel passes and had another one taken away by a penalty. He would have rather won the game than had one more pick.
I don't know if I'd say in the zone, but I always felt like I was in the right place to make plays, and he was just throwing the ball up a couple times, and we just would go up and make plays on it. The whole secondary played really well, so it was good for us to get a good game like that.
It was Musin's touchdown that started a streak of 25 unanswered Beaver points.
Here's the snap, the hold, the kick, and it is good. Kirk Ilanimi with a 51-yarder, and I'll tell you what, a great hold, Bob, by Carl Tobey.
Tackles, listen to me. River and Lake protect were man on the end. Yeah. We got the end. He is off the line. He'll take the snapbacker if he's up.
Stay together, everybody. Stay together.
Here's Ilanimi. He puts it up. He puts it through. It's a 1-point ball game.
32 out on Smith.
Kegel again, back to throw. Kegel in trouble. He's sacked. Drops a football. Anderson wants to go deep. Has Mike Haas out there. And Haas holds on. And he'll score the touchdown.
He's got a good first step, and he's got some quickness, and he's got great hands. And concentration, which showed in that big play that he made just before the half. He's another guy that I think is going to have a good completion of this season. I think it'll get better and better for him, and I'm really looking forward to the rest of his time here. I think he'll contribute more and more.
That's all concentration right there, my man.
Unbelievable comeback by Oregon State. Ilanimi has it up, and it is good.
Well, I thought we had a great opportunity, but I did not think it was going to be over by any means. The way that game was going, nobody could really predict what would happen next.
Back to Pullman. This certainly was a game for both defenses.
Jackson gets to the outside, will get some yards. He's at the 10, turns the corner, has the first down out across. Well, they're going to say he stepped out of bounds shy of the first.
Steven Jackson held it just 23 yards in the first half, finally began to grind it out after intermission.
Second and less than a yard. We'll see if Jackson changes that here. He gets the handoff. He does. He lowers the shoulder, delivers a hit, and gets to the 21-yard line. There's your first down rushing. And Jackson, the El Dorado kid, showing some purpose in the first 2 carries.
They were very good against the rush, and it was going to be hard And we felt like if we just kept persevering that we would eventually be able to run the ball okay on them, and it really started to happen. I thought that Stephen really showed really what kind of warrior he is in that ball game. I mean, he got 91 of the toughest yards you can find in that game, and our guys kept plugging up front and did a better job as the game went on, I thought, on run blocking. But you know, it was one of those games where we just weren't consistent enough. We'd make a play or have a guy open, you know, and then not quite connect. Or it was frustrating that way, but I thought Stephen played his heart out.
A high snap into the end zone.
The injury bug bit the Beavers a bit harder. Trent Bray was forced into service as a third-string snapper. Jason Jean-Baptiste gave a star turn backing up Dan Rothwell at defensive end. Even James Newsom and Billy Swancutt missed some action.
You know, Danny Rothwell has given Oregon State a bundle of solid football, and plus being our long snapper, that was a hard loss. But you know, Derek Bruns went in and was doing a nice job snapping, and then he got hurt. And he's out probably for the year now with a broken bone in his hand. But Trent Bray went in, and you know, that's the way football is. Somebody's got to step up. And then Jason Baptiste went in as a defensive end, had an outstanding game. Really, really proud of how he played and stepped up. And Brandon Scales also got more playing time than usual, and he played well. And so that's all a part of, you know, being ready when the opportunity arises, and also just being part of a team.
From the Beaver 9, trailing 28-16, play action fake, Kegel over the middle, and it's caught by guess who? Scott Lundy, touchdown Washington State.
The Beavers entered the fourth quarter with a 12-point lead, but after a Kegel touchdown pass to Scott Lundy, the former Beaver recruit, all heck broke loose in the next 4.5 minutes.
Trent Bray, the snapper. It's high and bobbled by Toby. The ball is loose and it's picked up by Al Genitone, I believe. He's chased down from behind. On first and goal, Kegel with a play action fake, rolling right, still rolling, looking, firing. Eric Williams juggles it, hangs on, interception! The Beavers will have it out at the 20-yard line. The fifth interception of the night thrown by Kegel. He had 4 coming in. Eric Williams with the pick. They come up showing run blitz. Anderson to throw, steps up and fumbles. The ball on the ground, and the Cougars recover at the Beaver 28-yard line. Anderson trying to pick it, step up in the pocket and run, and Al Genitone, he does get this one here. Back to throw goes Smith, looks for Lundy, throws for Lundy. Lundy makes the catch, touchdown Washington State. It is just simply unbelievable where Lundy has come from in this football game, and the Cougars take the lead.
That game went by, and when it was over, it was a blur. There were so many momentum changes and big plays of all different kinds in the game, and I thought, you know, college football, you saw just about all the kind of stuff. I was really proud of our team, how hard we played. It wasn't always pretty, but it was very physical, and I thought that Washington State played like that too. So it was quite a game.
Newsom isolated to the right. Anderson with a pump and go, looks for Newsom in the corner of the end zone. Newsom drops the ball in the end zone. It would have been another touchdown. The Beavers have dropped 2 in the end zone.
Missed opportunities were the real story on the Palouse. The Beavers only managed 1 touchdown and 3 field goals as a result of their 7 takeaways.
And Anderson will. Downfield he goes. James Newsom. He's out of the end zone.
Yeah, I mean, we were on fire in the first half. You know, everything was going our way. We had all those 7 turnovers or whatever, 6 and whatever, I don't know, in the first half. And we felt good going into the halftime, and then it was disappointing having to come out in the second half and things were going their way, not necessarily ours, and it was just frustrating.
Stupid mistakes by me towards the end of the game that can't happen to win a game to beat a top-ranked team like them.
Down to a minute to go as Anderson drops back to throw, rolls right, fires, and it's intercepted. The Beavers are all over the official looking for pass interference, but they won't get the call, and the Cougars will win the game, and Mark Banker is livid along the sideline because, indeed, it looked as though Newsom was interfered with on his turn, and Washington State will win the game.
Yeah, you know, that's the game of football. You know, sometimes things fall your way, sometimes things don't. That's how football is, you know, but no matter what it was, we always fought hard no matter what.
Listen, we came here to win. We came here to win. You never blinked. And we're not gonna lose anymore. We are gonna come back, and that is too hard. That is too dang hard. We did too much. We played too hard to lose that game, right?
Hell yeah.
That should do nothing but fuel the fire for us. There was some unbelievable football out there. Unbelievable. And it was what? Hard. It was hard all the way. Quit dressing. It was hard. You guys, right now tonight, you look each other in the eye, you come back, and you say, we are not doing what again? We are not losing. There is so much progress being made. There was a lot of good stuff out there tonight. Lots. And you should be proud of your teammates because they fought.
We still got a good season ahead of us. I mean, we got 2 losses in the pack, but we still got a lot of stuff to do, and we need to go home and regroup and come back next week playing really well, and I think we'll do that.
Give it all I got. I mean, nothing else we can do. Just go out there and let it all align like we did today, and good things are going to happen for us.
The opponent isn't the focus for us. It's really who we are. We'll look at what they do strategically, but besides that, and what their personnel do specifically. But we don't care about their record. We don't care about the history too much. We just have to play our best football game of the year this coming Saturday.
Well, we need to beat Arizona, and we need to win out, and then see what happens. And just continue to play good on defense, and hopefully, the offense kicks in, and we can win out.
Well, we are 5-3, could be 7-1 realistically. Neither one of them would matter if we don't do well these next 4 games. So we got to start out this week with a win and play our best football.